The following podcast is presented by Secret Room Multimedia.
You're listening to Fairpoint. I'm Craig Lewis.
And I'm Nathan K, reminding you that if you guys don't buy tickets to the next Purge movie, they will eventually stop making them.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, if you don't buy tickets to the next Purge movie, they will actually purge you and your family.
Just reminding you.
Please buy tickets. Wait, no, opposite.
As much as it pains me to say this, we have to. Why do you think the movies are doing so
They're
well?
making a third one, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Well, there's just so much more to do with the concept.
Well, maybe if they explain the concept a little better than, you see, crime was on the rise, and they made this drastic move, and it has suddenly vanished. Homelessness is down? Yeah, no shit, you killed them all.
Have we talked before about, maybe we haven't, but we're not going to do it today. We're not going to talk about the Purge and the illogicalness of it.
Yeah, fuck that. We'll do a whole episode on the Purge.
I would be down. As much as I hate those movies, I would be totally down to do a movie about the Purge.
So I'm not even going to...
I just said that I would be totally down to do a movie about the Purge. No. I'm not that guy. I would be down to do an episode about the Purge. If I was given a budget for a feature-length movie, I would not make the fucking Purge for...
Oh, no. You'd make the making of the Purge.
No, but seriously, though, if you guys don't go check out Blurry Photos episode 100, we will purge you. We will purge on you.
Wait, so if they don't go see The Purge, they need to check out Blurry Photos 100?
Either way, they need to check out Blurry Photos 100.
Okay, good. It is excellent.
Blurry Photos, if you're not familiar, I don't know, maybe this is your first episode of Fairpoint or podcasting in general.
Ouch.
They do this awesome fucking podcast about the unexplained, cryptozoology, the paranormal, aliens, all that
Perhaps.
shit. And
just mysteries.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool podcast itself, but for their 100th episode, it was something extremely special. They did a full-on radio drama.
So cool, but it still kind of hit all the notes that you would expect a Blurry Photos episode to hit. So, you still get and it was great. I loved it. I was an absolute huge fan. And
spoiler alert, we're fucking in it.
Yeah, we're in it. Who would have thought, Craig, when we started listening to these guys a few years ago, would you have imagined I'm going to be in their 100th episode?
From the first episode I listened to of them.
That was my only preoccupied thought.
I was like,
I better be in their 100th episode.
Well, this is what I was thinking, because we had just started podcasting ourselves, or had just gotten back on the train, or was in that period where we were absent for a year. You got me onto them, and I started listening, and that was my thought. This is what I want to accomplish out of podcasting. I want to make their 100th episode.
Really?
No.
Oh, I was like, that's
but that'd
pretty
be cool.
Damn prophetic of you, Craig. Holy shit.
It came true, and so now I can retire. Goodbye, Fairpoint. Oh, by the way, this is my last episode of Fairpoint. Sorry, Nathan.
Well, I guess we're ending Listener Appreciation Month on a bang.
Han shot first. No, let me rephrase that. Han shot only.
Yeah, go check it out, though. It's a really cool episode all about the Holy Grail. Craig and I play some time-traveling Nazis.
I don't know what the hell they were thinking when they were like, you know what? They kind of do a really bad sexual German character, just one.
Oh, that's you, too. I can't do it.
So both of us should do a German character.
I've got a lot of German blood in me, and I can't do a German accent to save my life.
What?
Same thing with Irish.
Yeah. I'm just glad they didn't ask
Really
us to do an Irish accent.
Oh, God.
An Irish character. I'd be like, sorry, you're barking up the wrong tree. I'm from Ireland, but no.
But if you're not familiar, we're going to give you a little bit of an opportunity later to get a little taste of their style. And what happens when we come together, because we actually guested on
That is
one of
disgusting.
on one of their podcasts recently. They do a side podcast called Bullstone, which is them and guests just having fun without the burden of research and all that. And we did one about aliens, so we figured what better time than now. Well, not now, but when the episode's done.
You could say every single thing we're going to talk about is alien to Earth. Well, every single thing in our topic
is alien
to Earth. Because everything is Star Wars. It's not from Earth, so it's not on Earth. So they're all aliens.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
I've done my duty. Now, to the next obvious point.
Run, Forrest, run. You gotta get there fast.
Before we go any further, want to give a huge thanks out to Matt for requesting this episode. The seedy criminal underground of Star Wars. Thank you for getting specific.
Yeah. Jeez, that's a hell of a fucking topic, too.
Still not specific enough.
Nothing that we could possibly, completely cover in one episode of Fairpoint. But we're going to do the topic justice, I think. We picked 4 different bullet points we're going to hit.
And hopefully that's good enough for you ungrateful bastards.
So we're going to talk about the Black Sun.
We're going to get into the Hutts.
We're going to talk about spice.
Girls.
That's illicit. No, not the Spice Girls, but
the Spice Channel.
That's basically slang for illicit substances in Star Wars. That's the wacky tobacco in Star Wars.
That or death sticks. And we're going to wrap things up by talking about a couple of the more famous bounty hunters.
But we're also going to talk about all sorts of other stuff. It's kind of going to bleed together, and there's other points we're going to hit here too. And
there's no way we can't not talk about Vader or Luke.
You know what, Craig? Just have fun. Just have fun with it, Craig.
I plan to.
Just have fun.
I plan to. I got loose today. I got a fifth of vodka in me while I was working. No, I'm kidding. I'm so kidding. Because just in case my boss listens to me, I definitely was kidding.
Everybody else, I'm totally not kidding. Fucking wasted, bro.
Yeah, I'm really not, though. because that's kind of irresponsible and a good way to get fired.
All right, so last week we took a look at the Punchin' Pastor. This week, let's talk about the Punchin' Pope.
Whoa, Pope's punching pastors?
Punchin' Pope Francis. No, he's not punching the pastor. Although he should.
He's got a killer right hook.
He should. That fucking pastor.
I bet you if the Pope punched the pastor, he would crumple him. Crumpled. And whenever you say crumpled, you have to ball your fist, boom.
No, actually, Pope Francis, who's pretty fucking cool. He's a pretty chill guy.
He's been my favorite Pope so far.
He was recently in a discussion about the Charlie Hebdo terrorist attacks, which we haven't talked about, mainly because we try not to get too political purposefully. We'd rather the politics come up accidentally.
Also, this is, supposed to be a fun podcast, and it's very tragic what happened. Je suis Charlie.
Well, he was talking about that, and there was one point where he was saying that you can't react violently, when people piss you off. But,
and there is a big but.
Quote unquote, but although we're good friends, if my good friend Dr. Gaspari, who was standing there with him, he organizes the Pope's tours, and he was on tour.
Okay. Tour manager, if he were to do something of this level and magnitude,
that's the Pope.
I fucking pop him one right in the kisser. Boom, crumpled him. Did I get it close?
No. If my good friend Dr. Gaspari says a curse word against my mother, he can expect a punch.
Oh, whoa, watch your mouth. That's my mother you're talking about. Listen, doctor, I know you're a doctor, Mr. Gaspari. But that is my mother. She not only gave birth to me, but she fucking raised me. That's my blood. Punch. You can expect that coming to mail or coming in person. Punch.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
So yeah, I guess
praise Jesus. Have a good day.
that's the theme. That's the theme of 2015, I guess. Getting off to a good start. That for 2015, apparently we can expect a year of punching palpal authority figures. Papal, right?
Who are you, the punching police over here?
Punching priests.
Priest punchers.
All right, well, from religious authority figures in the news, back to this story of police in the news doing fucked up shit.
Oh, boy.
This one tried to kill, cook, and eat his ex-wife.
Oh, so it wasn't like a random criminal?
Excuse me, he didn't attempt to. He planned to. He didn't actually get to the attempting phase.
He was caught?
He was caught, and this was a while ago.
What kind of police officer are you that you can't even get away with it?
Jesus, Craig. That's what disgusts Craig about this story. These cops are clearly unqualified.
For real. That's why we need to change the hiring process.
He's actually been in jail for a long time because of this. Not too long. He's only 30 years old, so I don't know how long he was
So where's the new part of news?
Well, he just got out.
Oh, did he? Oh, is he going to finish his plan?
Well, now he's on dating sites. And everyone reporting this likes to point out that cooking is listed as one of his interests.
Oh.
And, yeah, not very funny. Not very funny.
Most women love a man that cooks. But in this case, just saying, ladies, watch out.
Yeah, sorry to blow up your spot, bro, but his name's Gilberto Valle.
Obviously, he's not under the same Tinder name.
I don't know his name. And in the news article, there was a snapshot of his profile on some dating site, and his name was Amicable114.
Oh, thank you for outing him.
Amicable one, huh? I'm sure he's already changed that.
You can try. If you think, maybe you can change. You could change this man, honey. You can make him the way you want him to be. Be careful. He might try to eat you.
What the fuck?
I'm not saying he's going to. I'm not. I'm just saying there's even a fraction of a possibility that could happen, I'll be like, bam, out of here.
Maybe
so gone.
Maybe we should have stricter regulations for making sure that people who are going to be police officers, who are going to be given weapons to enforce order and make sure other people do the right thing.
I thought you were going to say to sign up for dating sites. We have to have background checks, people. Background checks. Christian mingle? I don't think so, buddy. You're not even of the faith.
Badoosh.
Well, Firefox has a new browser out.
Oh, joy.
Joy, because...
I don't want it. I like things to stay the same. I don't like when they update them.
You don't like change?
No, I do.
You might like this. Use Firefox.
I'm not trying to be all conservative about it. I do like progress and progressive thinking and change. But it really pisses me off when they update programs because it seems like they get rid of all the useful, simple ways to do things.
And add 4 toolbars.
Unnecessarily complex. And they take shit out. And it's like, why did you take away? You're not supposed to take away when you make a new version. You're supposed to enhance.
You actually might enjoy this. By the way, I'm a Chrome user myself, so I
do use Firefox.
So you might enjoy this. They're adding one specific new feature called the Forget button.
Oh God!
Which will instantly clear your cache and
cache. I think it's cache.
I don't care.
Cache.
I say cache because if I say cash, they might think I'm talking about money.
Why would they add that button? I don't want to hit that button.
The cash button? It'll delete all your cash, drain your funds, bring them right to Firefox's headquarters. Careful. Watch out. I think it's a scam. A little on the nose there. No, so it'll basically delete your browser history.
So you're still confusing our Canadian listeners because they just hear they're putting in one of those forget buttons and that'll take away all your cash, eh?
You went there. But no, it'll delete your entire browser history and making it way easier to get rid of cookies.
I don't want a button that'll just delete my browser history. I like having things in my history so I can find them
easier.
If I don't want something in my history, I just go to private browsing before I go there.
I guess that means if you're not allowed to watch porn, or you might be able to get away with it. You're on your work computer.
No, on your work computer, employers will still be able to trace what you do. They'll have outside They'll have outside.
So
like,
basically, it's just saying,
things
yeah,
tracking
if you're like looking up bad shit that you don't want other people to see, we'll make it way easier for you to delete it.
it's not that difficult though to go into the fucking toolbar and find it.
You're not the average middle American.
Or not the toolbar, the whatever the fuck you call it, the drop down menus.
You aren't the average middle American.
But I think the average
Frankly.
person's going to get pissed when they're on their trackpad on their laptop and their finger brushes over it and it's like delete and they go to hit no and it hits yes on their way to no and they're like, no, I'll never find that page that I forgot what it was.
Well, that's what favorites are for.
Yeah, but sometimes, and you know what? It's easier for me too. I just hit F and then enter, and it goes to Facebook because it knows that's where I'm going.
It already
because of
knows
my history.
Not once would it think you're going to findingfowl.com. The birds.
No, I delete those. I go to private browsing before I go to that site.
Before you go looking up migrating patterns of North Canadian birds. Somebody please tell me if that's a real website. That's fowl, Fowl.
All right, Craig, for my next two news stories, I'm taking you
You're
back
gonna
in
pull
time.
a rabbit out of a hat.
No, I'm taking you back in time. We're going back to high school, man.
Our high school, my
Well,
high
actually-
school, your high school, somebody else's high school, or just the year 1999?
Yeah, we're actually not going back in time because we're going to nowadays high school, which would
so you're taking me down.
probably get us arrested.
You're giving me a little tour of Nostalgia Road.
A little bit. Well,
A little bit.
for the first story here, a 15-year-old girl at Halewood Academy in Liverpool,
Halewood. Liverpool, England, or Liverpool, New York, or
in England.
I was kind of wishing Liverpool, New York, but it
Never
doesn't
heard
seem
of
like a
Halewood
school.
Academy?
Yeah.
She was taken out of class and placed in isolation, which I don't think it's as scary as it sounds. I think it's just
Probably like in school suspension.
yeah. Like it's not like they threw her in an isolation tank and turned off the lights.
The deprivation chamber.
She was placed in isolation as well as having her prefect badge taken away from her for dyeing her hair blue over Christmas vacation to be like Avril Lavigne.
Oh, that's not allowed. That's
Yeah,
prep
only
school.
because she was trying to be like Avril Lavigne. They were like, "You poser,
Oh.
do it for yourself, you fucking
Oh,
poser."
yeah. Actually, I kind of agree with that right now.
No, that wasn't why.
If it was, I'd be like, good for you. You're taking a stance against Avril Lavigne.
She showed up. They were like, "You go, girl," and she was like, "Yeah, like Avril Lavigne." And they were like, "Get in the fucking deprivation chamber."
You like new look, looking good. Yeah, Avril Lavigne does this too. Ew.
No, apparently she had shown the color to her head teacher beforehand, who said it was okay, like the color she was going to dye her hair. And then she got in trouble anyway when she came back, and they told her she had 24 hours to dye it a normal color, a natural color.
She was like, fuck that.
She was like, "I can't." She even went back to her hairdresser, and they're like, "We can't dye your hair that soon afterwards. Like, you have to give it at least like another week." And
Well, yeah, because you're talking about, you could fucking destroy her hair.
yeah, they weren't compromising. And she was told that red hair and purple hair count as natural colors, but not blue.
Oh, you know what? What would they do if Marge Simpson was in that school?
Seriously, purple hair? Who has purple hair? Red, I'll even give you. But
Well, why
purple?
wouldn't you give red?
Well, they don't mean like a redhead has like, maybe you're colorblind so you don't know the difference, but a redhead has like orange hair. Not a lot of people have like red hair like your
Like
fucking
red.
49ers had
Like
there and shit.
Deep red.
Yeah. But Ariel did, and she's a princess, so.
So that's cool.
But,
Who had purple hair, though?
and like in people in Japan, I guess, in Japanese cartoons.
But still, is the purpose behind this like screw this school for being so like you can't do this, you can't do that?
Yeah, how about teaching kids? You're not teaching them by throwing them in isolation and taking them out of their class.
Tell you, it's an
because
academy
of their color of their hair. Still, it's also the year 2015.
Right, but I mean, things got tradition and they have their rules and their fucking stupid ass rules. But
Purple.
hey, their parents are paying a hefty sum for them to go there and follow their stupid fucking rules. They could go to public
Purple?
school. Yeah, why don't you just dye it purple instead of blue?
Purple? Why is that cool?
So does this mean that like you can't do two-tone colors then at all? Because that's not natural. You know, you're not naturally, the bottom half is purple and the top half is blonde.
You know what this reminds me of, actually? When I was in high school once, my brother went to school with, you ever see when someone has short hair and they take like the tiny little rubber bands and they tie up a bunch of little things.
Yeah, like the monkey knots, I think somebody
Is that
called
what
them.
they're called? I don't know.
I don't know.
That sounds
exactly,
vaguely racist.
No, that's just you turning it into a racist thing.
I hope not, because I'm sorry, but I'm not calling them that.
I totally did not catch that as anything to do with just like African culture.
I don't know. But my brother
assumed
did
the actual
that.
animal, the monkey.
To me, it looks like, at least on my brother with his blue hair, which I think he had blue hair then too.
Well, it was the 90s, so.
Yeah, it was probably 99 or it was 2000. It was one or the other. And he got kicked out of school for having his hair like that. He got kicked out for the day. Sent
Really?
home. So the next day, I went to school with my hair like that. I had short hair back then. And I went to school with my hair like that.
Making a stance. I like that. Yeah.
And at one point, the administrator who like handled attendance and shit, like if you were skipping, he's the guy who'd catch you. He pulled me out of class to talk to me about something unrelated to the hair. It was maybe I had skipped school or something. I don't know. But he pulled me out of class and he looks at my hair and he goes, it'd be nice if someday you took a stand against something serious instead of some silly hairdo. And he flicked like one of them with his finger.
Oh, don't touch me, bro.
I'm like, I looked him dead in the eye and I was like, bow, crumpled him.
Douche.
When will you take my hair seriously? No, I looked him dead in the eye and I was like, I could say the same thing to you. You kicked my brother out over a hairstyle. It'd be nice for you to take a stand against something like racism or something instead of, yeah.
And what did he say?
He was just like, well, anyway, about the, I don't remember. This was like 13 years ago.
Oh my
14,
God.
15
Nathan
years
was
ago.
all like activist mode.
Dude, that shit, what a dumb thing to say. Like,
For real.
You kicked someone out over a hairdo yesterday. Fucking prick.
Compromising ideology and creativity is not a silly thing to take a stance for. That's pretty damn serious.
Well, speaking of high school administrators and officials taking stances, Craig, this may be
I'm not afraid anymore.
This may be the first time and maybe only time that I've ever brought sports news to the podcast.
Oh, wait, no, that's not fair because I could always have sports news and I just don't because I'm being respectful of you.
Well, yeah, because
and most of our listeners probably.
Yeah, your news would just alienate everyone that doesn't. You'd be like,
but
so-and-so
you're talking about
made
sports
this
news,
many
so
passes, so and so did this. I'm like, okay, Craig, again, every week we're doing
big
this.
trade in Denver.
The Scene, Arroyo Valley High in California. Coach Michael Anderson was suspended for winning a game against Bloomington High, 162 points to 2.
Oh, you're not supposed to run up the score. I mean, that kind of makes you a dick in that level of playing, but that's not really. But those kids are good.
It was the Arroyo Valley High girls basketball team.
Oh, basketball. I thought this was football. I was like, wow.
No, basketball.
100 to 2. And I was like,
did I not say that? Yeah, basketball.
You didn't specify.
If any sport's going to catch my attention, it'd probably be basketball.
Well, it's the fastest paced one.
Apparently, this team was winning 104 to 1 at halftime.
Oh, that's what's really sad is the only points the other team scored were 2 free throws at separate times of the game.
Like foul shots
are
the only way to get 1 point in basketball,
So
right?
I just said free throws.
Yeah. So that means they missed. They missed a few too.
Well,
because they got two separate points in the game, and you don't just get one foul shot.
Well, when you only get one foul shot is when you had already made the basket when you were fouled.
Which they obviously didn't.
Didn't. So what happens is you get 2 shots if you get fouled, and they only made one of them 2 separate times.
Yeah, dude. Apparently that other team just sucks.
Yeah, you can't blame a coach for running up the score when another team can't even get an actual field goal.
Apparently they were running a full court press as well, so they were being
that's kind of
a little
dickish.
Ruthless. But come on, that team sucked.
But you can run the full court press all you want if you're doing it. In the fourth quarter, the end of the game, you're still doing it, and you're up 80 points. Yeah, you're kind of a dick.
80? Dude, at the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
No, at the end of the game? No.
Well, in the fourth quarter, towards the end of the game.
80 points, dude. They won 162 points to 2 points.
I thought it was 106 points to 2 points.
No.
162? Oh dear.
They won by 60 fucking points.
They won by 160 points.
I just said 60, yeah. 160 points.
Boy, double what I said.
God damn.
You shouldn't suspend this guy. You should give him a medal for achieving that.
Seriously.
No,
and this isn't.
It is more. It doesn't matter how much this one team sucks. You can play against kindergartners. If your team has the amount of time to score that many points, bravo. You're doing something right, sir. You know what, Coach? What is his name? Coach McGurk? It's not Coach McGurk. That's Home Movies.
No, Anderson.
Coach Anderson.
Coach
you have fair point support.
Anderson.
Or at least Craig Lewis's support.
I figured it out. He found a glitch in the Matrix.
Oh.
They said
he's
suspended. He wasn't suspended. He was reprogrammed.
He was just rebooted.
Yeah. Defragmented. And
well, all that Matrix talk just reminded me of the future. And guess what, Nathan?
Just reminded me of the future. I just remembered.
I know, that's kind of a conundrum in itself. The future is now.
Oh, shit. Not anymore. That's in the past. You said that in the past.
Okay, but we have achieved the pinnacle of human excellence. We are not selling robots on Amazon. Or just one robot. A full 13-foot tall robot.
An Amazon robot? An Amazonian
warrior? On Amazon.com.
Cyborg? An Amazonian cyborg?
It's a Japanese robot.
Tall?
It's a Japanese robot. But Amazon.com is selling it.
Well, what does it do? Because you could buy Rob the Robot in the 80s.
Just like in the game Titanfall, you can get inside it and ride around.
Oh, so like a mecha skeleton.
And it was originally
an exoskeleton,
made for war, because it was called the person that originally programmed it said the word smile and it shot like guns.
Word. So if we start a Kickstarter to buy one of these for the podcast, will you guys donate?
Please. I want one.
It's for you know how many YouTube videos we'll be making?
For real, like part 99, still assembling the base. Because that was this box is huge. That's one of the small things. If you're thinking about buying it, it's basically a starter kit that doesn't feature the arms. Arms don't come with it, and you have to assemble it yourself.
No arms.
But yeah, because the arms were guns.
Lame. You'd be like fucking.
I think the arms were guns.
Walking around just reaching.
Basically, it's just a giant car for $1 million.
Arms were guns. God damn it, Obama! Why can't I have arms on my fucking?
Well, then replace them with regular robot arms. Where are its arms? How can it get me the paper if it doesn't have any arms? It's just gonna step on it. Well, yeah, you could ride around this little guy, and the inside is cool. 13-foot tall, weighs about 5,000 pounds. It's a big robot.
Wow.
Big robot. And yeah, to my girlfriend, if you're listening, birthday present. You've been wondering what's on my list. I want a robot.
If I may, sir, offer just a bit of advice. Never trust a robot with no arms.
Can it, Rust Bucket?
So, Craig.
Yes?
Picture this, if you will. It's late at night. Two old army buddies, Robert Story and Stephen Robertson, are walking home from a costume party.
Wait, Robert Steven and Stephen Robertson? Robert Stevenson and Stephen Robertson?
You made this new story up.
I'm catching on to your ruse.
No, Robert Story.
Okay.
And Stephen Robertson.
Still, isn't it a little odd that two best friend army pals, one's first name's Robert, the other's last name is Robertson? Do you think they ever have conversations where they're like...
I'm not saying it is the Illuminati, but...
Do you think Stephen
you
ever...
do the math.
Do you think Stephen ever looked to Robert and go, what if you had my last name?
And I need you now tonight. And I fucking need you more than ever. The music just swells as they're staring into each other's eyes.
You know, we can get gay married now.
And then Robert Story goes, that'd be weird. He's like, yeah.
Totally weird. I mean, did you just say we can get gay married now? No. I was saying, like, if it would be funny if we did. Because my last name's Robertson. God damn it, Steven.
No, these guys...
I just made a better news story.
They can still be those guys. That's the conversation they're having as they're walking home half drunk from this.
Yeah, well, they got hungry,
part,
right? I would get
costume
hungry
party.
walking home drunk.
So this was a costume party, as I mentioned.
And they were the village people, 2 of them.
No, yeah, their other friends bailed out.
Last minute. Like, we're going to look stupid now.
Their other friends showed up as the 3 Musketeers. They were like, I thought you were, but no, we were, well, I could have been D'Artagnan or so.
Oh, nuts.
Well, no, they were walking home having this conversation about how weird it would be if they shared the last name.
Yeah.
Robertson.
But, yep.
Or how not weird it would be. And they were dressed as Robin and the Joker.
Oh.
Friends of the podcast. Not friends of the podcast.
Well, one was.
Robin. I'd consider Robin a friend of the podcast.
I would consider Joker an enemy, but.
Of everyone.
Yeah.
Even himself. He's
That's
got some self-destructive habits.
It's just to be safe.
This
too.
is an intervention, Joker. Now, that would be a comic I want to read, the Joker's intervention.
What? Come on, Harley. You too.
So they were dressed as Robin and the Joker walking home, and they noticed this apartment building caught fire up top. And the fire was rapidly spreading really quickly. So these being old army guys, not old, I think they're around like 30 or so, but they went into fucking
save mode, army mode,
and ran into the building. Started just pounding on every door, yelling like fire, like you gotta leave.
And then got confused when there was nobody to shoot.
People would.
That's what they knew. No, I'm sorry. That seemed very anti-military because I'm not. I support our troops. I love you guys. But I was just making a quick joke there. Awesome though. They went in and saved as.
They were, and a few people, like they were saying one guy actually slammed the door in their face because he's just like Robin the Joker pounding on my door.
It's obviously Halloween.
And they were like, they kept pounding on his door and they're like, we are not kidding.
There's a fucking fire. Don't you feel it?
And
can you feel it?
They cleared out like a lot of the apartment building before any of the cops
Bravo to these guys.
Or firefighters got there, and they left. They didn't stick around. They were like, well, we got to get home.
Still got to get home. Those hot pockets are calling my name.
Basically, they
still hungry.
After they saved some people from the fire in costume, suddenly they just
disappeared.
They just felt something that they hadn't felt in years, and
they continued the conversation that they were having.
And I need you more than ever. And I was going for Watchmen, though. In Watchmen, what happens in Watchmen?
When
Watchmen.
Hallelujah is playing? Yeah. Oh.
It would be better if they played And I need you more than ever.
And then immediately it stops and it's like, never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down.
And he's like, sorry, my iPod's on shuffle. Just give me 1 second. And it's like...
He's like, you ruined it. You just rickrolled me.
So to everyone that didn't listen to the Watchmen episode and didn't see the movie has no idea what we're talking about. But
oh, well, you're lost.
Yeah, so Joker and Robin working together to save people from a fire.
I think the only thing that would have made this cooler was if Joker was Batman. It was, Batman and Robin going and they end up saving people. Like, wow, it's real. Shit is real now.
Robin went home and he's like, oh, hey, Bruce. Don't you hey Bruce me. And he's like, what?
My name is Robert.
And he's like, what? And he's like, I saw on the news. He's like, you think that's cute? And he's like, no, I saw that too. Those were just 2 guys in costume. And he's like, yeah, sure.
Palling around with my arch nemesis.
A good cover for the news, sure.
He's tried to kill you. He's killed one of the other Robins. How dare you? You're mocking the Wayne name.
You're grounded. I'm fucking 19. I don't know. This is like Tim Drake or something. I don't know.
Could have been Dick Grayson.
Yeah, it could have been Dick at one point.
You don't know Dick.
But yeah, back to topic. These guys left the scene, didn't even stick around, just got everybody out, did what they had to do.
It's because they know what a hero is.
And left, and the news ended up tracking them down. I think they found them through their Facebook pictures or something. I don't know.
Only a hero could save him. Not go to stand here and wait.
Before he ran in, he's like, wait, I've been waiting for this opportunity. But Popped his earbuds in.
And you're the hero of the day.
Hero playlist.
I need a hero. Looking up for a hero till the morning light. You got any more heroes?
I can be your hero, baby. And he's like, you know what? In hindsight, this one's not that great for like high action, like adrenaline pumping, saving people.
He's like, oh no, I got the fix. Dun, 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 dun.
He's like, you want in on this? He took one of the earbuds and popped it in.
And they just start bobbing their head.
And they're like,
rising up.
They're running
back on the street.
Running down the hall trying to knock on doors, but they're like all awkward because they're trying to stay close.
No, this
so
one.
They don't.
This one. To the left.
So they don't jerk the earbuds out.
I swear to God, if you ruin Survivor for me, bro.
All right, so the topic of the day, as requested by Matt.
Just how does Leia get her buns to stay up there in those nice little rolls?
That was his first request, but then he sent us another one back.
Yeah, we just we couldn't base a whole topic on one question.
He sent the original message, and he's like, how does Leia get her hair to stay up like that? And then he sent us another message, like an hour later, and he was like, never mind, got it.
Good, it only took you an hour.
So today's topic is the criminal underworld of the Star Wars galaxy.
The dark, the nefarious, not as evil as the dark side, but...
No, not the really dark, just the gray, I guess, the gray area.
It's a little darker than gray.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe more of a burgundy. But yeah, there's a whole well of information on this, and they've delved so far deep into it in the outside canon.
And even what do we cover? There's like Jabba's palace. There's Han Solo and Lando.
Yeah, because they were spice smugglers.
There's gambling. There's slavery.
There's got to be a criminal element, and it was massive.
So yeah, there's no way we can cover everything, and I'm sure this will be wrought with inaccuracies. So feel free to pen some angry letters to us at fairpointpodcast@yahoo.com to let us know about how much we fucked up
or what we missed, because we're gonna miss a bunch of shit, and we're gonna talk about a lot of other shit too. So
leave it on Facebook. If you're checking this out on YouTube, leave it in the comments. Whatever. Let us know, because we're fucking idiots.
I was about to say point to the comments section below, but this isn't a video podcast, so there's no pointing.
No.
You can add me pointing when you put this on YouTube.
So the first thing I figured we'd look at as an introduction is the Black Sun. A lot of people might be saying to themselves...
You mean like an eclipse?
And a lot of other people might be saying to themselves...
What's the Black Sun?
The Black Sun is basically the largest criminal organization in the galaxy, which, for those of you that aren't in the know, the Star Wars universe collectively is generally referred to as the galaxy. There's more than just the galaxy, but that galaxy is that's what's been founded, what's been charted, and what is an active
in
part
that
of
galaxy.
Society, yeah. Exactly.
And the Black Suns, they were one of the biggest because they actually lasted, and they spanned a huge amount of time, from 3,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, or BBY for all you Star Wars nerds.
That's how time is generally measured by Star Wars fans. Before the Battle of Yavin and after the Battle of Yavin. The Battle of Yavin is in the first Star Wars movie, Episode 4, when they blow up the Death Star. That's the Battle of Yavin. So yeah, just think, if you hear 3,000 years BBY, that means 3,000 years before the first Star Wars movie.
A long fucking time ago. What if it was like 2000 BC for us? 3,000 years BC, they were fighting in space. Holy shit.
Yeah, space travel has been around for a very, very long time in the Star Wars galaxy.
Well, I'd hope so. Other than it wouldn't be Star Wars, it'd be Planet War. Just one war.
So the Black Sun is this big criminal organization. They originated on Coruscant.
Coruscant?
Coruscant. Sorry, I always call it Coruscant.
I think the C's silent.
I read it more than I hear it in the
Do you also
movies.
say skeptile?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, just think of it like that then.
I guess we should... I don't know if we're going to have to keep stopping to clarify terms. We're going to assume that you guys have a passing familiarity with Star Wars, but we're also going to assume that you're not. That maybe we're going to try to just assume you've seen the movies and that's it. So if something isn't completely explained in a movie, we'll try to take an aside and let you know what we're talking about. Coruscant's totally in the movies. It's the city planet that's sort of the hub of political activity, almost like the capital of the galaxy.
Yeah, that's where the Galactic Senate is, right?
Yes. So this crime organization pretty much dealt in everything. Anything illegal, they wanted in.
Yeah,
a nickel bag gets sold in the park. The Black Sun.
They got to cut. They got to cut. You got some death sticks going anywhere? Oh, better make sure you pay us too. They didn't do any legal trading or businesses. They're just like, you know what? That's not risky enough.
They did. They had some legal operations too,
as fronts, right? And like, oh yeah, we have we run the trash, the waste management.
Well,
wink.
I know there was a transport system owned by Prince Shizor, who we're going to talk about in a minute. Oh, that's right.
And yeah, it was they did a little work for the Imperial
He
forces.
owned a bunch of casinos and restaurants as well. And I don't know, maybe he just personally owned those, but
illegal gambling. Only illegal gambling allowed at our casinos.
If we catch you doing anything legal,
we're going to cut your hands off.
This one guy gets caught cheating at blackjack, and he's like, I thought I was supposed to. You were really unclear.
Yeah. But I won. Not anymore, you didn't.
I thought you meant illegal as in by the rules of the game.
So let's delve into their beginnings a little bit. We got to take you way back towards the end of the Great Galactic War. Around 3653 BBY, the Galactic City itself...
3653? So like 3,000 some odd years?
Yes.
Okay.
3,600 years and some change before Yavin.
Now, what was the
long
great...
time ago.
Do you know anything about the Great Galactic War?
It was a huge fight.
Okay, thanks.
It's not important, is what it is.
Craig Lewis on the Great Galactic War.
It was pretty great.
I'd have to say it was pretty great.
Okay, so right at the end of that war, the great one. The Galactic City.
That also happened to be galactic.
Yes. The Galactic City itself just like basically went into turmoil, panic, chaos. Riots started and crazy shit like that. While the
cops were just eating their wives in the street.
Yes. The cops were getting bad, and they were stretched thin as it is. Coruscant security forces, they couldn't handle it, and a bunch of gangsters just like got all together, like, you know what, we can take control. This is our power move. Let's do this. So they all split up and started seizing control of all the different parts of the city, and eventually spanned out. And now, thanks to a man named Skadge, who was the primary founder of the Black Suns.
That name just sounds like he's untrustworthy. Anyone created by George Lucas, I'm going to judge by what they're named. I'm sorry, I don't want to be prejudiced.
Fair enough.
If you were created by George Lucas and you come up to me and your name's Sly Snoodles, I don't trust you.
Or your name is Skadge. The man's name makes it sound like he hasn't bathed in years.
Yeah. I'm not touching you if your name's Skadge.
My friend's nickname is Sludge.
Sludge comes out, and we're like, oh, can't imagine what Sludge is like. And then Sludge comes out, and he's like, hey, y'all, finally got my hair up in them little buns, just like the princess. And we're like, oh, Sludge is actually very well groomed. I take it back. I'm done judging people by their names.
Name's still Skadge. Well, shortly after the Cold War itself, the Cuban Missile Crisis, that whole thing. I think it was a different Cold War. It was like the Battle of Hoth, but
the Galactic Cold War. Yeah, a war fought solely on Hoth.
It wasn't galactic. It was just planetary.
So, do you think that there is an alternate Star Wars universe where Dr. Manhattan was created and and like
And
Nixon
stopped the
became
Black Sun.
and Nixon became Emperor.
Palpatine.
Nixon became Emperor and Sith Lord, and
he was like, I always wanted to do that.
now what would an introduction of a Dr. Manhattan be like in the Star Wars universe? Apologies to everybody who doesn't know Watchmen and didn't listen.
An introduction to
our
Dr.
episode.
Manhattan?
If Dr. Manhattan was introduced into the Star Wars universe, the
Oh,
same
they'd be
way
like-
that Watchmen explores what would happen if a character like Dr. Manhattan was introduced into our universe. What kind of effects would that have? Dr. Manhattan, for the benefit of the listener, is he can control like everything on like a molecular level, so he can just do anything he wants. Pretty much.
I feel like there never would have been the Clone Wars or anything like that. He probably would have stopped the whole overthrow and the Sith uprising.
So, do you think he would have worked for the Republic or the Empire?
No, I think he obviously would have worked for the Republic in the beginning, and they didn't want the Empire to rise up like that, so he would have worked for them and made sure it didn't happen. And,
But what if he came about around the time of Luke? Would he work for the Empire?
If he came around then,
Just
yeah,
blowing rebels up?
he wouldn't. Yeah, he'd be working for the Empire. They would have like lied to him and made him think that they were the good guys. Which, if you watch enough cracked videos, you might now think that the rebels were the bad guys.
Well, dude, the Empire, you know what I just realized? The Empire fucking outlawed slavery.
They also had great benefits in 401k.
Did they talk about that in the cracked video? I don't know if I've seen that one, but
I think so.
because I never thought about that. But I mean, we'll talk about the Hutts in a minute, but they kind of let the Hutts still keep their slaves because they don't. It's better to just kind of let the Hutts do
their thing. Yeah.
But
The Hutts are like, Jabba Walker, no slave give backsies.
no Indian giving slaves, and they're like, Jabba, that's racist. And he's like, really? I have slaves that are exclusively Twi'lek. Really? But the Indian giving thing was the racist thing. Okay.
And then out of nowhere, Zap Brannigan comes in and he's just like he said, no givesies backsies.
But I don't know. I still can't get with the idea that the Empire is the good guys because I've seen
What they've done,
and how they run,
they harness the dark side.
Yeah, they work with the Sith.
They
And
literally,
they blow up planets.
literally, the people in charge have something called the dark side in them. That's not supposed to be good. It's supposed to be pretty cut and dry.
Not necessarily, though. In Eastern philosophy, like if you looked into stuff like Taoism, for example, the dark side wouldn't really be viewed as like evil and everything. Like, don't get me wrong, like but if in their philosophy, like if you were to harness like the dark side or the light side of the Tao or the universe, if
Right,
you will,
you have to have balance.
it would be more like, nighttime and daytime. Nighttime isn't evil. There are qualities that are associated with nighttime and the moon.
Speak for yourself.
And there are qualities that are associated with daytime and the sun.
But let me remind you of the creator.
Yin and yang.
No, the creator of Star Wars, not the creator of Taoism.
Let me remind you of the creator, Nathan. Bow! Crumpled him.
When are you going to take Star Wars seriously? No. George Lucas, Western mind, he probably had none of that.
Are you serious? No. Star Wars is totally based on mythology and religion from all over the world. Like, the Force and all that shit is very heavily, like...
Christian.
Eastern. No.
That was a joke. I'm sorry. When Jesus came back with lightsabers and...
Yeah, he's like, Luke, put down the visor. Now place your faith in Jesus Christ. He's like, well, I don't know. I don't know how to do that, Ben. Just give yourself over to him, Luke. He's hanging upside down in the cave on Hoth, and he's like, hand your soul to Jesus Christ, Luke.
And so he starts praying to Jesus.
He's like, Ben, I've tried.
Jesus will not have me.
I keep going back to drinking, and it's just not doing it for me. But I've been experimenting with some Eastern mysticism. And he's like, that's heretic, Luke. That's the devil, Luke.
That's the dark side, Luke.
That's the dark side, Luke. He's like, I don't know, meditation's really helping me, and I just kind of respect all religions, and I'd like you to just stop harping on me, especially since you're dead, and it spooks me out.
That's right, Luke. If you disobey me, I will continue to haunt you and you're pooping.
He's like, I'm a Force ghost. Turns out the Jedi were right. I just wanted to troll you.
I have knowledge.
So back to the Black Sun.
Who? I'm sorry. The Black Sun, Crime Syndicate. Okay, so throughout the years, the Black Sun basically got a stranglehold on the whole crime game. They're like one of the top ones, right? They were the most famous, impressive.
Yes.
Blah, blah.
Like we established.
Like we have already established. So they stretched all their ranks across the whole galaxy. They weren't just in Coruscant anymore. And around 33 years before the Battle of Yavin, while under control of Alexei Garen, Darth Sidious gave Darth Maul orders to kill him, the leader.
Orders to kill who?
The leader of the Black Sun, Alexei Garen.
Okay.
And there's actually a cool little quote, a little back and forth dialogue between Maul and Sidious, because I never thought Maul talked. I thought he just always went,
He talks a few times in the movie. Hearn.
No, when he was told to murder Alexei, he asked, "Do you wish that the Black Sun is destroyed utterly?" To which Darth Sidious replied, "No, one day it might prove useful to me. But for now, it must be thrown into chaos."
How come Darth Sidious and Darth Palpatine are like the same thing? Oh, yeah. George Lucas. Never mind. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. Sith Lords.
I'm kind of pissed, though. I'm finding out now that, sorry, quick aside, but that George Lucas really doesn't have much of anything to do with the story of Episode 7. Originally, he was still creative consultant.
Really?
And I guess Disney just didn't want to use any of the ideas he gave them. Well, to be fair, maybe his ideas sucked, but...
Well, yeah, he was going to bring Jar Jar Binks back.
He's like, so Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord. And they're like, next. And he's like, so Jar Jar Binks is the Imperial Senator. Next. So Jar Jar, next.
So C-3PO gets amnesia again.
And then that's pretty much it. Next.
So then it turns out the Wookiees on Kashyyyk are descendants of giant baboons.
Next. Ewoks.
Next.
No, they're like,
go on.
Yeah. And he's like, the Ewoks. And they're like, okay, we got it. Creative consultant, pal. Pat him on the back. They're like, Ewoks. Just make sure there's a fucking Ewok in this goddamn movie so that we can tell this dude
There's just one in the background walking around. Like somehow it made it to one, like Dantooine or something.
Ewok to remember.
I have nothing for that. All that's coming to mind is a shitty Mandy Moore movie with Ewoks.
So during the time of the OT, that's the original trilogy for you noobs out there.
Yeah.
The Black Sun was run by Prince Xizor. That's spelled Xizor. If you grew up in the 90s, you probably...
Such a majestic name.
You might have seen him if you read comics and shit like that. He was very heavily marketed.
I think if you read Star Wars comics. Not just comics.
No.
Oh, like ads?
I was very familiar. During the 90s, they decided to do this thing called Shadows of the Empire. Does it ring a bell? Like, do you remember seeing Shadows of the Empire?
I know of the 64 game.
Okay, that was part of it. It was basically this big multimedia project to utilize all the marketing potential of a major motion picture release without actually making a movie.
Huh.
So that movie that didn't get made was called Shadows of the Empire, and it took place between Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, and Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, while Han Solo's frozen in carbonite.
Go on.
And it tells this side story dealing with the Black Sun, mainly with Prince Xizor, Darth Vader, Luke, the bounty hunter Dash Rendar, who is the star of the N64 game.
Dash, good man.
It was told there was a novel. The novel was the main thing that you would get the main storyline of the heroes from, of Luke, Leia, Lando, Chewie, R2, C-3PO, and some Dash Rendar as he comes in contact with our heroes. Then there was a comic series that dealt with the bounty hunters, like Boba Fett and all of them. Then there was the video game, which dealt with Dash Rendar and sometimes would intersect with the other ones. Same thing with the comic would intersect with the novel.
I think it's funny that we're talking about this right now when the last couple weeks, Angry Video Game Nerd has been doing Mike and James Monday's Shadow of the Empire.
Total sheer coincidence, right?
Coincidence.
Because Shadows of the Empire, I knew was something we were going to have to talk about in this episode. I knew it.
Yeah.
The second he requested it.
It's a big thing.
And that's what the title refers to. The shadows of the Empire, the shady dealings. That the Empire, which you may be thinking of them as just like the bad guys. Remember, the Empire isn't just the bad guys. They're the prevailing governmental force of the world.
They're the government.
Yeah, of almost the entire galaxy. And so the fact that they have dealings with the Black Sun, the biggest criminal organization, is a thing, even though I feel like no one would doubt it, even in universe.
Because they're the bad guys.
Yeah, they're run by the Sith and everything. Like, seriously, come on.
They just get jobs done. They don't care how it's done.
So the story focuses around a rivalry, actually, between this Prince Shizor and Darth Vader.
Shizor!
Oh, Shizor!
Oh, Shizor!
Prince Shizor, who was a Faline prince, basically this reptilian humanoid with like a bald head except for these 2 ponytails on the back of his head. And he wore like black robes. He was a skilled martial artist and expert, like very cold and calculating and emotionless.
Do you think they have the same martial arts in the Star Wars galaxy? The same names for martial arts?
No, they have different martial arts.
Oh, okay. It's been done, Craig. Stop pontificating about things that are already done that you have not read.
And his people also have this ability to secrete like strong pheromones that can woo people over and almost, like
so basically
subtly hypnotize people.
The opposite of what Zoidberg does.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everything I excrete makes people run away. I can't do Zoidberg, so I shouldn't.
He's vomiting. Hooray!
So Prince Shizor is considered to be the 3rd most powerful person in the galaxy, behind Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader. And as such, him and Darth Vader don't get along that well, because the Emperor, I think, kind of knows and is kind of, being an instigator a little bit. But behind the scenes, they're each trying to sabotage each other while appearing to be cordial and respectful for the sake of professional relationships.
Of course, professional business relationships. But
this kind of stems on Shizor's part from the fact that Darth Vader killed his family, completely annihilated his family, and he wants revenge. But he, after it happened, completely wiped any traces of any information that his family was killed in that accident.
So he wouldn't be connected to him killing any reasons behind his vengeance.
Yeah, no one would suspect that he had anything against Darth Vader because there was no reason for him to. And this whole alliance with the Emperor really kind of psychologically boils down to him wanting to get back at Vader.
Yeah, getting close to Vader.
Now, when he finds out Luke Skywalker is Vader's son, that's when things get interesting. Because he realizes Vader must be kind of keeping this kid alive. So he's going to kill the kid to get to Vader.
Secret child, huh? Let me get some photos and send that right on over to TMZ. They'll have a field day with this. Darth Vader, the man that's second in charge of the Empire, with a son that no one knows about.
TMZ's and the entire planet they do their research or their broadcasting on is just obliterated.
It just stopped right there.
Now, I've got to say, I tried to read the book, Shadows of the Empire.
Couldn't get through it?
Not a big fan.
Did you play the game?
No, I didn't play the game. Did you?
No.
Oh.
I didn't have a 64.
It's very... So much of what happens is just boring and pointless. And
whoa, hold on. Sorry, Star Wars nerd fans. I apologize for my partner.
It's this whole story of them trying to rescue, like, our hero's goals is to rescue Han Solo, which we know they won't do until Return of the Jedi.
Right, they won't achieve it all in this book.
So we know that just kind of leads into the main plot. But unlike a good Simpsons episode, they don't just lead into the main plot. The whole book, like, the dramatic tension is, will they rescue Han Solo? And it's like, no.
You're like,
they won't.
Well, they will, but not now.
Oh, and do I think Prince Shizor is going to win against Darth Vader? Probably not, because Darth Vader's in Return of the Jedi.
And Prince Shizor is not. He did not overthrow the Empire.
And honestly, Prince Shizor, I don't like him as a character. He's very bland and uninspired. Nothing about him is original or cool. He's just your stock, cold, calculating martial arts. He has no like morality and all this, and like he's a vicious, ruthless businessman, and like it's so bland.
So
and
basically,
uninspired.
he's like a villain from an NES game.
He has the depth of one, but the benefit of the NES games is that you were allowed to put your own personalities. You were allowed to use your imagination. You know how much of a personality
But not
Mario...
not into the villain.
You know how much of a personality Mario and Bowser had before I ever saw them on N64 talking and shit?
Oh, true. He's just...
In my brain, you know?
You did it. You gave him one. Or you just watched the Super Mario Super show or...
No, but reading Prince Shizor, I'm being told every detail of his every thought and everything, and I don't like it. And you know what?
I could go for some flies right about now.
I don't want to insult the author, but I feel like I don't. It's like the way he writes women and like the way he writes Princess Leia. Princess Leia has 3 points in this story. She has 3 like purposes in this story. Purpose 1, to be obsessed with and find Han Solo, for it to be the only thing that she cares about. Completely overriding every second of her narrative because she loves him.
Right.
Purpose 2.
And he just said, I know.
Purpose 2, to be an object of lust for Prince Shizor, who wants to use his pheromones to sleep with her because he sleeps with women and then leaves them and does all. It's
that is pretty
it's like
stock
this whole
character.
Stupid, like almost power fantasy character that's just so. And the way they treat, like, I know, like, I get why it holds up in the story that he kind of does woo Leia over. He's able to woo pretty much anyone over, even male or female, because of his
pheromones.
His special powers. But like, somebody wrote that, though. The thing is, somebody wrote that. It didn't just happen. Someone wrote Leia's role in this story is going to be obsessed with finding Han Solo because she loves him. At all expenses, she has to find him. The rebellion be damned. B, an object of lust for the main villain. And C, to be captured by the main villain and rescued by the main hero. Like, come on, bro.
Which, hold on. That's her purpose there, and the rebellion be damned, because that's totally Princess Leia's character.
No, she doesn't say that. It is for the rebellion and everything, but it's just written from like, I'm going to write a woman character now. And
what do women want?
And it was the 90s.
Men, they want to be rescued.
It was the 90s too, and it's like, this has to be gritty and real. So we're going to have it be about the criminal underworld, and the bad guy wants to have sex with Leia, and there's going to be like all these like sexual innuendos.
Harassment lawsuits.
Yeah. Total sexual harassment all over the book, and like it's just like it was like so many times I would read things that were cringeworthy, that were like, dude, have you ever like been on a date or something? I mean, I could set you up on a date. Like, come on, dude. This is
hold on
awkward to read.
This is not fair to most Star Wars fans, but you said, have you ever been on a date and you're talking to this Star Wars fan that wrote fan fiction in the 90s?
Dude, look, it was not fan fiction. It's official.
It's official. So, but
it had
obviously
an entire marketing campaign behind it.
Is not everything like that considered fan fiction if the people aren't George Lucas?
Now it is, according to Disney. And no, I'm not like, look, there's nothing wrong with like, dude, I have social anxiety like a motherfucker sometimes. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not mocking any like people for anything like that. But it just kind of comes across as this like Rob Liefeld like 90s like
sexist.
This is how women are, and this is how like,
women be like,
and men, and this is the kind of men that they like, and then they get this
men with
and, like,
giant crotches.
It was just this kind of like, this is painful to read, man. Like, can I just read a Star Wars story, please?
No, this is Rob Liefeld's Star Wars.
Like, I know people, there probably is.
Frank Miller was the writer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's like Frank Miller almost. It wasn't like Frank Miller. There'd be a lot more fucked up shit
and
in it.
Just,
but
it'd be nothing but like Leia would be like, I'm just going to have sex with everybody.
Yeah, no, there was no prostitutes. There was no like, none of that shit. But
nobody getting their crotch punched to oblivion.
Frank Miller extreme. So that's, needless to say, not a complete history of the Black Sun. I'm sure you could read for days and days.
But a moderate history.
Now you know what they
semi-moderate.
are. Like, we did our job. Now you know what they are. Maybe they'll get their own episode someday. Probably not.
You know what we also could have just done if we wanted them to know who they are? Oh, they're A crime syndicate. There. Done. Moving on.
Bam. Huts. You remember those big fat guys from Return of the Jedi? The big fat guy that had Leia on the golden bikini? See, you didn't remember until I said
Pizza
Leia on the golden bikini, but you remembered when I said Leia on the golden bikini.
Hey, what can I say? I was a 90s kid.
90s. Oh, okay. Huts. Big fat slug guys. Next. Spice. I got a whole cabinet full. Put a little bit of this.
Yo, you want some oregano? You want some cayenne pepper? Oh, you're talking about the good
goes
spices.
With everything. Put a little bit of thyme in anything you're cooking. It makes it better. Makes it healthier, too.
Used to have the spice channel on the tube.
So the huts.
I thought we were done with them. Oh,
I thought we just knocked out huts and spice. It's on the bounty hunters.
Bounty hunters.
Fucking bounty
long
hunters.
Enough.
No, let's take it slow. The huts. Everybody should be familiar with Jabba the Hutt.
Wanna take it nice and slow. I'm sorry. Just went Usher on everybody.
So we're going to assume you know who Jabba the Hutt is and know that the Hutts are the race that he comes from. Big, fat, slug motherfuckers.
Where's that they're from? Nal Hutta?
Well, they were originally from the planet Varl, but that planet's never been discovered. Their adopted homeworld was Nal Hutta, which
they named themselves because they're Hutts.
Yeah, it used to be called Evokar. It used to be called Evokar.
But now it's Nal Hutta.
Nal Hutta, which means we're the shit or something like that in Hutt language. Hutties, as it's called.
Is that what it's called, really? Hutties? I wish I could go to a school that would have a class on how to speak Hutties.
It would be pretty useless, though.
So are classes about Doctor Who, but that's
language.
The thing.
No, Hutties is a dead language, dude. No one speaks
it anymore. It's a non-existent
anymore.
Language.
No one's spoken it since a long, long time ago.
Yeah, in a whole different galaxy.
Very far, far away, might I add. So they're basically slugs. They really are. They don't have skeletons. They just have this like internal mantle, as it's called, that supports their heads. They're covered with so much oil and mucus. Oh, you're just going to love it, Craig. It just gets better and better. All over their skin that they're pretty much impervious to any like fire or chemical burns.
And the Sarlacc cannot stand them.
Starlack can't digest
it.
It'll spit them right up.
It's helped many a Hutt avoid a weird slug-like death.
Which is weird. How many Hutts are there on Tatooine?
Which is also weird because don't you think if they went out into the sun, they would like shrivel up like a boy holding a magnifying glass on a sunny day to a slug?
Maybe not. Probably not because they're a lot bigger and there's no magnifying glass.
The whole time.
But how would they move in the sand?
Oh yeah, they can't get any traction, right?
Yeah.
It's weird. That's weird. I got another question for you. Why didn't Luke just bring a huge gallon of salt?
Because they're not slugs.
They're just slug-like.
Yes.
But it would dry out all their mucus. Because that's what salt does.
Fair enough. Okay.
That's why it hurts the slug.
Okay.
Yeah, the science guy
Craig.
Coming true.
They're also hermaphroditic.
You're gross.
I'm gross.
Yeah.
For bringing that up.
So how come all their slaves are female Twi'leks? Or just Twi'leks?
It's sort of there's a couple reasons. It's sort of like a status symbol, like having this beautiful exotic pet like the Rancor or a Twi'lek dancer. The Jabba the Hutt sees them.
Do you think he makes
probably
them
both as his pets?
Like please him, pleasure him?
No, because they're not sexual. They're hermaphroditic. I guess they would be sexual if they were hermaphroditic.
Yeah, it's not like they're just asexual.
But they're not attracted to humanoids at all. They don't. Those are all lower races to them. They only like Hutts.
Which is funny considering they're a disgusting
looking. They can
looking.
still aesthetically appreciate like the Twi'lek dancers and Princess Leia in a golden bikini the way we might aesthetically appreciate a beauultiful bird or fish, for example.
I thought you were going to say Princess Leia in a golden bikini.
No, differently than we appreciate that. It's also a sort of subtle indicator to their like humanoid visitors, for example, that we
fucks around.
We control everything that you desire. Like we have awesome food, awesome alcohol, security, luxuries,
I don't know,
dancing women, everything that you carnally desire, I am in control of.
But
it's
don't think that they have too many guidelines with sanitation in their food preparation.
Hutts?
I don't know if I would trust a Hutt prepared meal.
On one level, you're right, because they're pretty resistant to most poisons, I think, and toxicities. So they probably wouldn't care that much about some bacteria and shit.
Yeah, or like,
level,
cook picking his nose and then...
They probably love exquisite fucking food and all those, like, big luxuries. So they probably hire, like, the best chefs, you know?
Maybe. But what would be even funnier is if they didn't love it and it was just for the humanoid visitors, they'd make a plate of it and they would just look and go, yeah, you can't have this. And they're just, like, knock it on the floor. Nope, trash.
I'm sure some of them did. They can also live up to 1,000 fucking years, some of the more longer-lived creatures in the galaxy. And they're known henceforth for their intelligence, their patience, and their ability to hold grudges.
So what you're saying is that any of the Hutts that were in the game Star Wars Knights of the Republic, which took place about 3,000 years before the movies, weren't alive anymore? They were all dead? They were dead?
Probably. That wasn't what I was saying, but yeah, I guess deductively,
well, you said they live about
yes.
1,000 years.
Yeah, deductively, that would be true, Craig. That's not what I said. That's what you inferred.
That's sad. So what you're inferring is what I just said?
Oh, I'm about to blow your mind, dude. You're going to have to take a break. Everybody in the Star Wars universe is dead right now.
Are you telling me that the Star Wars universe is just purgatory?
No, I'm telling you... What?
Everybody's dead.
Stop inferring things and just listen to what I'm telling you.
That's not
They're
fun
dead
at all.
now. It was a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. They're all dead, Craig. They all died.
I wonder how long ago it really was compared to our galaxy in our time.
I wonder that as well.
George Lucas, you have some splaining to do.
There's a video that calculates how far away Star Wars must have taken place if it took place in our universe. And it's pretty interesting, but not how long ago. Yeah, it does actually, I think, kind of calculate how long ago. It's a cool video. Anyway, moving on.
Sorry, sidetrack.
So it's basically theorized or accepted or understood that Hutts kind of feel threatened on this subliminal level just naturally, and that kind of makes them really selfish and manipulative.
Because they're very self-conscious of their looks and appearance.
Oh, of their vulnerabilities and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know about their looks, but their vulnerabilities probably.
Well, they're vulnerable because they're self-conscious about their looks. In fact, one was bulimic. Get out of here. He didn't have any of that awesome food prepared. Oh, wait, he did.
That's the Hutt that knocked the plates over. You guys can't have any.
Gotta make you fat.
They don't give a shit about other species' ideas of morality because they see themselves. It's kind of like the way we view animals. Like those other species that has nothing to do with our society.
It's kind of the way the Emperor views the rest of the entire galaxy.
No, not even though.
Below him.
Not even though. Like, to an extent, yeah, but I mean, these guys just on a natural, subconscious level, like...
Or higher up on the food chain.
Hutt society is Hutt society. That's what it's about. All these other people, that's the lower life forms doing their thing. They got the Imperial Senate and all this shit, whatever. We don't do that.
We don't. We're in charge.
They use slave labor. They don't really see it as a thing. They never try to justify or rationalize any of their criminal activity because they don't see it as criminal activity. It would be hypocritical to try to justify it according to moral codes that don't mean anything to them.
Yeah, they don't exist.
There's actually no word for crime or criminal in the Hutt language in Huttese, or for thank you.
Because they do whatever they want.
Note.
Yeah,
there isn't. There's no word for thank you either.
Well, I would not assume that they would ever thank anything. But how do you say in Huttese, it's about damn time? Because I know that one has to exist.
Well, what's funny is there is no thank you, but they do have a you're welcome, so they can use it passive aggressively. Like after they hold the door for someone and they don't reciprocate it with a thanks, they go, you're welcome.
But I don't even know what I would say in this situation.
I don't know. I learned Huttese. There's no thank you. Oh, you learned Huttese. You're so culturally sensitive. Fucking.
You learn the worst kind of people and their language.
No, this is the Hutt. Like, just like, oh, you're so cool. Yeah, you really know me. You really know me and my culture.
You don't know what I'm about. You don't know what I've been through. It's hard being on top.
So socially, they have different clans, which are basically their families, their bloodlines, you know?
Yeah.
And they're really loyal to their clans, though they will be very ruthlessly competitive even amongst each other in their clan. And they used to be constantly at territorial war with each other. All the different Hutt clans, always just warring and fighting. You know, they a lot of times use slave labor to fight for them. They're big slugs. Of course. They don't fight.
They're not quite warriors as far as strategists.
But eventually, what was known as the Hutt Cataclysms occurred. This was 15,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. Way before Black Sun, dude.
Wow, so long ago.
This devastated their homeworld and tons of other like Hutt-controlled planets, and they had to leave and go looking for a new planet. This is when they found Evokar. They kind of tricked the primitive people there into selling them all their real estate in exchange for technology.
Slick.
Bought the whole planet from them. The people
For $5.
No, for technology, but they tried to appeal to the Republic, but the Republic was like, they did it totally within our law, and they did that on purpose because they know what they're doing, and it's not important to them whether or not they do things by Republic law or Imperial law, but whether or not they make their profits and get what they fucking want. So after this, they established the Hutt Council of Elders, including one Budila Hastilik Amura, who instituted the Khajidik, which was their new philosophy, which basically sees warring and physical conflict and territory conflicts as the type of problems that lower life forms and weaker species have, and that Hutts are above that. And this is where their current status as crime lords and all that began, where they started realizing we can do this in a business sense, and
the thing that I don't get is you can so easily overthrow a fat, slow-moving slug.
Yeah, but they have so much power. They control resources. They have people underneath their power.
Just kill them all.
You're saying like
I'm done with it. Just all the slugs. Ugh, gross.
But there's people that serve them. Like
they don't have to serve them. They can serve the person that takes over.
But that's like saying we don't have to serve our country. Like people, not that we wouldn't want to. I'm just saying, like people are ingrained in a system where they are. Dude, you know how much they probably received from Hutts, from the system that the Hutts set up? It probably sucked. I'm not saying they shouldn't revolt if they're slaves, but I'm saying it's understandable how people like that come to power.
Like, holy shit, they gave us the internet, but we can't use it because they say we can't.
They're very intelligent. They outwitted and then worked people into a corner. And their empire spread and spread and spread. Khajidik, which was this philosophy, is also the word for their different criminal organizations. There's all sorts of Hutt Khajidiks.
Well, that makes sense. The criminal organization is their philosophy.
They mainly own a bunch of planets in what's known as Hutt space. This is just sort of that area of space, for example, where Tatooine's located on the outer rim. The galaxy is constructed like Coruscant is kind of relatively in the middle, and all the planets that are closer to the core are much more progressed technologically. They're much more political and involved in all that.
Because they're closer.
As you get to the outer rim, it's less regulated. It's more the outskirts.
Right.
And Hutt space is a big chunk of that the Empire pretty much chooses to just like let them operate and not
so
give
far
them
over
much
there,
trouble.
It's like basically it's basically its own galaxy.
Well,
we don't need to
more because they have such a foothold in the economy that if the Empire, for example, when the Empire outlawed slavery, if they were to tell the Hutts that they had to get rid of their slaves, the Hutts would be like, "Oh, okay, word. Well, your entire economy's collapsed now. Thanks." Like,
so,
not because they don't have slaves necessarily, although that might be part of it, but because they're like, "Okay, well, fuck you. We're
cutting you off.
You have no idea how much." This kind of happened because Hutt space is situated right along one of the most popular trade routes, or a lot of the most popular trade routes, rather. And they really prospered. But eventually trade routes shifted, and then it became this place where criminal activity kind of flourished because it was not as frequented and regulated.
It's on the Lower East End.
Straight out of Hutt space.
Are we going to do a straight out of Compton thing now?
We have to, the whole song.
Did
you know there was once a Hutt Jedi named Beldorian?
I feel like it kind of goes against what the Hutts are about.
And he flipped like Yoda and shit.
Oh,
in
yeah?
the prequels.
I'm sure.
Everything. No.
George Lucas is listening. He goes, I have to remaster it.
He eventually turned to the dark side.
Well, duh. Makes sense.
Craig, have you ever heard of Blotus the Hutt?
No.
He would challenge all your ignorant stereotyping when he became the Supreme Chancellor of the Galactic Republic, and he served for 275 years.
Damn.
He was
People
one of the
must
most
have loved him.
one of the most adored, beloved leaders of the Galactic Republic in history.
History.
Shattered stereotypes.
He was an awesome Hutt.
Coolest Hutt ever.
I was going to say I'd heard of Pizza the Hutt.
I knew we weren't going to get through this podcast
Without mentioning Spaceballs.
without you bringing up Pizza the Hutt.
Or just the Hutt part of the podcast.
So eventually, a fellow named Jabba the Silgic Tiur.
Oh.
You might know him as Jabba the Hutt because lower races, quote unquote, don't normally know Hutt's surnames.
Last names.
Their full
They're not
names.
allowed to. You can call us the Hutt because Hutts are better than you. Our pets.
And he eventually kind of united the majority of the major Khajiitics as the Hutt cartel. And that is pretty much like during, the trilogy when you see the Empire in power and everything and Luke visits Jabba, that's the status,
Yeah.
Eventually, though, after Jabba and Shizor's deaths, the Black Sun and the Hutt cartel fall apart and the unity kind of crumbles.
So it turns out that they really weren't that much in control. If just one of them dies, then the whole thing crumbles apart. All you had to do was get the leader.
The Empire was also toppled to a certain extent, and I don't know. I'm not as up to date on the post-trilogy Star Wars universe as I am on the history stuff. Yeah.
Well, it's like you said earlier. It's really not going to matter in a year or two because it's going to be erased. All the post stuff.
We'll see though. They're probably going to acknowledge and bring into the fold a lot of the expanded universe.
God, I hope so.
So, moving on, hey, Craig, come here. Hey,
yeah?
You want to talk about some spice?
No.
Why? What's the matter? Are you chicken?
I'm not a chicken, you're a turkey.
Oh!
Ooh, burn. Michelangelo was proud of me.
Right in the chest. When am I going to take the Lord seriously?
When? Huh? You think you're funny? You think you're cool doing spice? That actually is one of those legal marijuana incense things.
Now it is.
Well,
but before that, back before it was synthetic marijuana.
Oh, in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, way before.
Way back when.
Even in our universe, in the expanded universe, it was referred. No, even in the original movies, it's referred to as spice.
Yeah, spice.
Yeah, spice is kind of a catch-all term for illicit drugs.
It's not just one specific drug. It's drugs. Like you got your
dope.
death sticks.
Spice is like dope. It's like that word. Like dope could be
right. Could be heroin. Could be
pot,
meth. Could be
coke. Four very different drugs.
Yeah.
So Han Solo and Lando Calrissian, I believe, were involved in some spice smuggling operations.
At least that's what they lead you to believe.
There's a point where C-3PO's like, "Oh no, they'll send us to the spice mines on Kessel," which
holy shit, spice mines.
Yes,
like they got whole mines for this shit.
Kessel was one of the major planets that spice got harvested, mainly because the most popular spice, glitterstim, could only naturally be found there. It was later, there were, I think, farms probably set up on other planets. But so C-3PO didn't want to go there because it's kind of equivalent with like a hell. It's a prison planet. There's a high security prison located there. It's surrounded by black holes. It's not even a spherical shaped planet. It's like this weird potato shaped asteroid.
It's just like it's a deformed planet.
Yeah. And it's hard work mining for glitterstim, which is one of the most popular spices that we said is exclusively found there.
Yeah.
It's hard work.
It is hard work.
It is. Well, first of all, glitterstim it's a drug that gives the user kind of this pleasurable high, this elevated like mental like, you're high.
So it's like heroin.
Supposedly I don't know if it's that serious. I don't know if it makes you fall asleep and nod out and all that. And
okay, so it's more like pot then.
There are some people that get really addicted to it, though.
Or like good MDMA.
It's probably between heroin and pot. Maybe it's like opium. I don't know.
Okay.
And it also supposedly can give the user a slight telepathic boost. Han Solo is a firm believer of this.
Oh, shit. It's LSD.
It's glitterstim. It's its own thing. Now, here's how it's made, though. It's produced by energy spiders. These big fucking spiders that make webs, and it's produced in their webs.
Nope.
And it's photoactive, and it has to be mined in total darkness, packaged in like this opaque paper to keep any light from getting to it.
So
and preventing accidental activation.
Would it? Oh, that's how it's activated. Is
Yeah,
by light.
you don't want a chemical of a drug activated until you're about to do it.
Of course not. That would be reckless and irresponsible. So would you have to mine it basically wearing like night vision goggles?
Yeah, probably. And you got to be
Those kind of
careful of
glow.
these big ass fucking spiders
In the dark.
and in the dark.
The total
and
dark.
It's supposed to be really sharp too. Their webs are so sharp, like it could just slice your finger off one false move.
Cool. I wonder, where did the first person get the idea to try this and like be like, yeah, this is something we could mine lucratively and sell to people.
Right. Who was the first guy that was like, I'm gonna smoke that spider's web, dude?
Or no, you're not gonna smoke it. You're just gonna absorb the light from it, reflecting off of it.
No, I think you still. I don't know what you do. I don't know if you smoke it or eat it or.
Well, you said the drug's
snort it.
activated by light.
Well, yeah, but it means that the chemical in it is photoactive. So if light hits this chemical, it activates it.
Oh, so you probably
you don't want it to be activated months before someone's going to buy it.
Because it'll be bad.
You know? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. I got you now. Maybe you just let it, maybe you vape it or something.
Yeah, it's Star Wars. They got to have vaporizers. Come on.
Yeah.
Another really popular drug is Ryll, R-Y-L-L.
Yo, that shit is real, son. Get out of here with that.
This one is used in a lot of medicines, and it's sort of a weaker drug. Maybe this one is more similar to weed. I feel like maybe even like between tobacco and weed, like a little less
Oh, wow.
intoxicating.
So what you're saying, it's like Motrin.
It's mined on Ryloth, home planet of the Twi'leks. You know, those guys with the Jabba strippers, the guys with the tentacles
the
on their
Twi'leks.
heads. Now, here's something really cool. You can take Ryll, right? Following?
Yeah.
You feed it to energy spiders. It makes the energy spiders grow to ridiculous sizes.
So the drug Ryll makes energy spiders get bigger, producing more glitter stem.
They produce what's called glitteril, a totally different drug, which can make you lose memories.
They're naturally synthesizing this shit and making heavier strains.
Fucking nuts, dude. Is there like...
See, what you do, you take this one drug that we've been using and combine it to the creature that makes this other drug that we're using, and it makes a fucking mind-blowing, mind-altering, whole nother world sensation.
I just can't help but think I'm like hanging out with Han Solo, and I'm like, so you guys party? Which, I mean, I guess here on Earth it's slang for cocaine, which I would never do. But
I know we got some glitter.
Let's say I'm just trying to have a good time, you know, and not me, just general person in my position out in that universe. Hey, you guys party? You know what do you? And he's like, yeah, take this, and I'm like, what's this?
It's Ryll.
And he's like, oh, it's made from a spider web that could slice your finger off by spiders that would kill you, and it's photoactive, so it has to be kept in darkness. It's the most metal drug ever.
So you're like, okay, sure. And then as soon as you do it,
Like-
he just looks at you and goes, huh, I didn't know you like to get wet.
That was laced with PCP. I'd be like, thank God, something to ground me. Believe it? But I'm over here, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, can't you just find weed anywhere in the galaxy? Like, I gotta smoke spider webs? Have you guys ever tried plants? And they're like, what? I'm like, have you ever tried just like taking a plant and smoking it?
You hand him a baggie of weed. He's
That's
like,
ludicrous.
yeah, he just looks at you and goes, so what death-defying trap did you have to overcome to get this drug?
I'm like,
Nothing. I just grew it in a...
I'm like, can I just get a cigarette? A cigarette? Yeah, like these little, you smoke them. They're like, oh, you mean a death stick? What's that? Oh, death stick? Well, that's made from the jizz of a rancor. Oh, really?
Oh.
Did
Wait,
you know,
so you smoke rancor jizz?
Did you know there's plants you can grow that you can just smoke for recreation? And it's, sure, it's not healthy, but
They don't have to be things
you don't have
that
to
were
jerk
secreted.
off a rancor.
Yeah. You don't have to do things that... The only drugs out there, they're not just things that secrete from disgusting beasts. You don't want any sticks. So lastly, to close out this whole topic of disgusting, terrible vermin the criminals. Whoa, I'm sorry. I just got on a whole Alex Jones thing.
Yeah, come on, Craig. I'm not trying to get Charlie Hebdo'd here.
Ooh, too soon. Maybe?
I'm not. Charlie Hebdo.
Yeah.
How have we not canonized that motherfucker? You're right up there with the fucking Christine Cavanaugh. We got two cartoon motherfuckers in there now.
Rest in peace, you cartoon motherfucker.
patron saint
of offensive humor.
Insensitivity. Yeah.
Yes. No, we're going to let's talk about the lone wolf mercenaries, the people that we all thought were just the coolest in Star Wars, the bounty hunters.
The hunters of bounty.
Which literally mercenaries.
It's the quilted quicker picker upper.
They get paid for hunting things, people.
And for wiping blue liquids off your table.
It's the quicker picker upper. Bounty.
So yeah, there's a lot of bounty hunters. There's no way we could cover all of them.
No, absolutely not.
And even the ones that we are going to talk about, there's no way that we could. They have such a rich life that there's no way we could do them justice here. So
they have their own fucking guild.
They have their own episodes in the future.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I know, I've seen it.
That episode will open to critical acclaim.
So, all right, let's get it out of the way. We know you guys want us to talk about Boba Fett, right? Not going to do it. Not going to talk about Boba Fett.
Wait, who?
Nope, not talking about Boba Fett.
Who?
I'm not talking about Boba Fett.
Who? Who's Boba Fett?
Were you going to talk about Boba Fett?
I don't even know who this guy is.
Word. We're on the same page. No, the reason I don't know if you're even in the same boat. I went out on a limb. But the reason I'm saying fuck talking about Boba Fett is, dude, Boba Fett could have 2 episodes.
Just to himself?
Like, yeah, he doesn't even deserve to be casually mentioned.
Okay.
Here.
But let's just say just in the original trilogy, he kind of ended up getting done like a bitch.
Yes, that's true.
I think everybody just expanded on this and made him this awesome thing just because he has this cool ass armor.
He also talks back to Darth Vader. How many characters in the original trilogy talk back to Darth Vader, Craig?
They had a mutual respect. They were boys. We're definitely going to be focusing on the main guys you see in the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, those bounty hunters on the Star Destroyer.
Yeah, but to start off, we're going to talk about one of my favorite guys, a little gem of a game called Knights of the Old Republic. He was one of the main mercenaries in there, just always kept running into you. His name was Kalo Nord. He's a male, human descent, which
Is he tall with long blonde hair?
No, he's kind of short and squat with a full hat that you don't see his hair.
Not very Nordic?
No, just Nord, minus the ick.
George Lucas must not have named this guy.
No, what's really cool about him was if you look into his backstory, his parents actually sold him into slavery.
That's
when he was
cool.
a child. No, the cool part's coming up. On his 16th birthday, he killed his slave master and was like, fuck this, I'm out.
He was like,
peace.
People die at the fair.
Yeah, for real. He just grabbed the keys to all like the cells and like looked at the other slaves and like dropped the keys 10 feet from the cell and just walked away. Left them to
deuces.
Yeah, that's what you get for not covering my shift last week. Oh, unfortunately, he did end up dying in the game, I believe.
And if you die in the game, you die in real life. So it's canon.
Yeah, it's Well, I feel like this game should be canon, or at least is considered canon. Maybe You know?
If you die in the Matrix, it's canon.
Reboot. Well, he.
This ain't Marvel, son.
Okay.
You die in the Matrix, it's canon.
Basically, he was just like a gruff old man, kind of like, get out of my way. And, he's not like the type of guy that just kills for the fun of it. He kills because he's paid to. He's like, don't make me hurt you. I'm not making any money off of your head. Yeah, that's Kalo Nord.
Word. There's also Greedo was another one that wasn't on that Star Destroyer that I said we'd give a shout out.
Didn't even shoot.
Nope. Greedo definitely did not shoot first. And I guess his father was this super awesome bounty hunter who rocked. Totally prestigious. Greedo, on the other hand...
Kind of lame, right?
Yeah, he sucked. Also, his name's Greedo.
He's greedy.
I don't trust him.
Wow, there you go. Judging off of the names of characters.
Only if you were created by George Lucas. So I'm sorry if he has any children.
Oh, okay.
If he has any children, I'm going to judge them by their names. He named one of his kids like Kilfro. And I'm like, Kilfro? I don't trust you. And he's like, really, dude, I'm a cool guy. I'm sorry. My dad's just fucking weird.
Kilfro Naggins.
I haven't got the money to apply for the name change yet. My dad's weird and he's greedy. We call him Greedo.
He hasn't given me allowances in 8 months.
Ever since Disney bought Star Wars. Then another kind of lame bounty hunter is Dengar. Dengar is actually kind of cool. But they sure did a good job of making you think he was lame when you were a kid before, like, the Clone Wars made him cool.
So did you watch the Clone Wars show?
Not the whole thing in its entirety, but yes, I've watched.
I saw the animated movie that came out.
I still haven't seen the movie. Actually,
I wasn't really that big of a fan of it, so I didn't watch the show. But I've heard nothing but good things about the actual show.
I heard the movie sucked, but the show was great. And Dengar was kind of cool in the show, but you remember him in the movie, right? He's the guy with a turban, but it doesn't look like a turban. It just looks like a blanket wrapped haphazardly around his head.
It's not a turban. It's just kind of to shield from the sand. It's kind of like archaeologists back in the day when they would wear like their shirts kind of on their head underneath a cap, to block the sand from being flown into their face.
It also covers, he's got a bunch of like cybernetic enhancements because he was in a horrible accident. He's a bike racer, a swoop bike.
Ooh.
A swoop bike racer.
Ooh, did he like start off with one of the swoop gangs?
I don't know. I think he started off just racing.
Have you ever raced a swoop bike? I've raced a swoop bike.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, in video games, not in real life, though.
Oh, okay.
Don't be silly.
So then how about Bosk, though, Craig?
Bosk always scared the crap out of me when I was a kid watching. Yeah. Name's Bosk. I always pictured him talking like that.
I watch too much G.I. Joe.
Cobra!
He's
Cobra!
Like, hey, kid, why don't you steal out your mom's purse? Spice some spice.
Spice, make everything nice.
Kids born in the 80s will get that.
That PSA, he just got one from person to fucking reptile.
There was this old PSA, like, anti-drug commercial where this drug dealer's like, yo, kid, I got everything. Heroin, PCP, crack, weed.
And as he's talking, he's transforming into a goddamn snake.
Yeah, like the fucking G.I. Joe character.
I don't think the G.I. Joe characters were actually snakes, though.
There wasn't a G.I. Joe character with a snake for a face?
Well, Cobra.
Was that He-Man?
No.
I can see it in my head.
A snake face? Let's see. Cobra Commander wore a helmet.
Yeah, I remember
Destro
him.
was bald, and he had like a giant collar that made it kind of look like he had a cobra back.
I don't know. Bosk, though,
was an actual lizard.
Was a lizard guy from some lizard guy planet. And
do you know what his race was? Isn't it Toydarian?
Toydarian is Watto from the prequels, the offensive Jewish stereotype.
Oh, what was I thinking? I mean, that was
the guy who owned Anakin.
Yeah.
No, all I know about Bosk is that he really liked hunting Wookiees. It was a sport of his.
Which is kind of interesting because that means he's got to be pretty badass because Wookiees are no easy game.
And just a bad person, too.
Yeah, Wookiees are no easy game. They can rip your arms off and beat you over the head with it.
Yeah. He hunted Wookiees like a Bosk.
I think that you don't get to say that anymore. You've already done that twice.
I did it twice, like a Bosk.
Oh, now you didn't. Now you can't even use that because you've done it thrice, like a boss. Nook. And then there's this dopey-looking robot guy called IG-88. But why you gotta play a hate?
You're the one player hating. You're the one who said he's dopey looking.
Well, he is.
he does look like a bad special effect.
But basically, just picture. I'm going back to Robot Chicken for this one. Just picture that robot that keeps humping the washing machine. That's basically IG-88.
I don't know that reference.
Oh, man. Well, Robot Chicken fans will get it.
Just picture a stick figure.
Made out of metal, not sticks.
Yeah, made out of like tubing.
And its head
pipe.
is two buckets put together. Oh, man.
IG-88, though, is pretty nuts. Do you know anything about IG-88?
Well, assassin droids are crazy.
It's more than just that, though. Have you ever listened to the lyrics in that song you were just singing?
Yeah, I tried to, but I'm not
Chris.
great at taking in all the lyrics at once when rappers speak fast. That's why I'm not a huge fan of rap, because it's hard to
Well,
me to
it's cool. If you
comprehend.
don't actually know the story of IG-88, you're not really going to pick up most of the lyrics because you don't know what he's talking about. But if you know what he's talking about, you do pick up on it. And you're like, oh, wow, that's brilliant. He tells the whole story. IG-88 was an assassin droid that became sentient and spearheaded the droid revolution movement. He totally
Like Bender.
killed everybody in his factory and then activated the 3 other IG-88 model droids that were there and uploaded his consciousness into their minds, linking them all as one single mind.
Yeah, so they're like one hive mind, but 3 separate
4.
things. Or 4 separate droids that can go out and do 4 bounties at once.
Yes. IG-88B became a bounty hunter, sort of as a cover, and eventually all the different IG-88s were destroyed except for the original IG-88A, who, get this, Craig, successfully hacked the Death Star and was about to trigger the robot uprising.
In the Death Star?
When, bam, the rebels blew up the fucking Death Star.
Oh, no!
That was the stuff.
I was working on it. So they didn't have to do that. They didn't need Luke. Like, it would have happened eventually. The Death Star wouldn't have been destroyed eventually.
No, he wasn't about to destroy the Death Star. He was about to utilize it to start the robot uprising. To, like, send out a signal, maybe.
So wait, hold on. That means that what they stopped was actually worse than they thought what they were stopping was.
And they even know.
Wow, how lucky can one guy be? I mean, that hole was like the size of a swamp rat.
Right? They're like, we saved the galaxy from the universe. Nah, they saved the galaxy from the robot uprising. They even know.
Yo, they stopped the Terminator from happening. IG-88 was Skynet.
You're implying that he survived?
No.
And it took him several millennia to reform his consciousness?
Yeah, his consciousness was reformed back. You know, his processing chip was blasted across the galaxy to Earth, where it laid dormant for eons.
Well, you know, some aspect of the Star Wars universe must have reached here. You can see C-3PO and R2-D2 on the wall in hieroglyph in one of the Indiana Jones movies.
Wow.
So now I guess the last 2 we're going to be looking at is a pair of bounty hunters. They're inseparable as peanut butter and jelly.
I love me some PB&J. Oh, like spaghetti and meatballs?
Or as that officer might say, as peanut butter and my ex-wife.
Oh, well played, sir.
The 2 bug-eyed motherfuckers, Zuckus and Forlom.
They were always bickering.
No, they're actually really good friends. Zuckus, he's like this bug-eyed alien guy.
It looks like a fly.
Yeah, it looks like a fly. Super force sensitive, actually. He's very good at finding his targets because he can pick up on their like energy and where they are.
Go on.
Yeah, so they call him the Uncanny One in those seedy circles in the Star Wars Underworld. Funny thing is, he's actually schizophrenic and has multiple personality disorder, so he speaks with 2 different dialects.
That's crazy.
That is really,
he's just like a
no pun intended,
person with schizophrenia. I was gonna say.
Well, schizophrenia and multiple personality disorder are 2 totally different things. So this is just one crazy motherfucker.
Yeah, that is true.
And he befriended Forlom. Forlom was this protocol droid that overwrote his own programming to live a life of crime.
Wow, why? You could have overprogrammed it to do anything you want. Sit in the Bahamas with a mojito.
That's funny you bring that up because it's actually the reason he did it was because he was bored with his job as a translator for a luxury space cruiser. So he was sick of sitting around with mojitos.
Well, no, he was translating shit.
Yeah. He found it really boring, so he started stealing from the passengers. Yup. This is like the Office Space. I want to see this movie, the Office Space of the Star Wars universe. Disney says they're going to branch out into different types of films, heists, and all that.
Let's see bounty hunter films.
Let's see Forlom and Zuckus. Zuckus, the crazy schizophrenic one, and Forlom, who's robbing the customers at his job. He was eventually really severely damaged, and his friend Zuckus had to do this total memory wipe in order to save him. But that, unfortunately, completely changed his personality, and it was never the same. Like, they just didn't get along anymore.
So they're always bickering.
That's when they started bickering, and
Yeah.
they don't talk much anymore.
Well, Zuckus can talk to himself in his different dialects, his North Britain dialect and his non-North Britain dialect.
Hey, do us a favor. We want to hear your dialect. Talk to us in whatever dialect you so desire. However you choose to get a hold of us. We really want to hear from you.
But write your dialect. Type it. Type your dialect.
Shit, you could record it, send us an audio file.
Yo, that would be
care.
dope.
Send a fucking carrier pigeon. That would be fucking cool, dude.
You're silly.
We
it's
guarantee
too cold.
You, I don't care what you say in the message. You send us a carrier pigeon, you're getting mentioned on the podcast.
Absolutely. Anything. It could be anything. It doesn't matter.
No, really. If it weren't for you guys, giving us that feedback, this whole last month of episodes wouldn't be possible. And guess what? January is not over yet because we're pushing listener request month.
Well, it is.
Yes. No, it's not.
But it is.
It's not. First of all, it's not over.
Well, I mean, by the time
in any case,
our next week's one airs, it will have been over. But we're going to keep in the spirit of, who cares? Let's just do a 5-week. There was one more fan request that was too good to pass up.
Yep. We'll let you wait till next week to figure out what that is. But in the meantime, please hit us up. Go like us on Facebook. We really need the likes. And you really need the opportunity to interact with us so easily. For real, you need it in your life. You have no idea. Just give it a try.
No, why? Go ahead and follow us on Twitter, @FairPointPod. Do a lot of the same stuff as on Facebook, but different.
Less characters. So,
lots of cool pictures. Keep you apprised of things to come and everything.
That wasn't a keep you what?
Apprised?
Yeah, that's not a word.
It's not.
I don't think so.
I'm going to look this up real quick.
Appraised is a word, but it doesn't mean that.
I know appraised. Oh, it is a word. To give notice to, inform, advise.
You're like, but it means to rape a baby. So I think I'm going to take that over.
No, to keep someone apprised is to keep them informed or to give notice to. I knew it was a fucking word.
You win this round, Craig.
I knew it was I was like, really? Wow. Why hasn't anybody told me all these years I've been using that fucking word?
And you can find us all sorts of other places too. SoundCloud, Tumblr, everywhere.
Instagram, Tinder.
No.
Okay.
YouTube, though. We're on YouTube, and it's really cool.
YouTube's cool. Yeah.
For real, we don't just upload our episodes there. We do that with, slides of images and all that. But we also do exclusive Loot Crate unboxings.
Yes, which mine is
movie
late.
Reviews, vlogs, all that shit. So please go subscribe on YouTube. Leave us a comment. Let us know what's up. If you like the video, like the video. And yeah, you know what? I've got one more recommendation for them. Do you have one more recommendation for them?
Oh, I totally do.
Okay, Craig. What do you recommend our listeners to do besides all these awesome, awesome ways to support us?
What I recommend they do is that you go first because I went first last time. I recommend that you go first.
All right, so we're going to do recommendations again right here. And I wanted to get this out before January was over. It's an album, an EP, if you will, 6 tracks. And
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's right.
It's called Broadsheet Music. This is basically a collaboration between the Globe and Mail, which is a Canadian news outlet, and Arts and Crafts Records, which is basically the record label founded by the Broken Social Scene creators, my favorite band. Okay. This album is looking back at some of the most important themes of 2014 and condensing it in 6 different songs by 6 different artists.
So there was only 6 themes in 2014 that were important.
No.
Okay.
It's that they made 6 songs for this album, Craig, you fucking cynical prick.
I'm gonna be a cynical prick if I wanna.
The first track on the album is Golden Facelift by Broken Social Scene, and that one tackles reclamation and human accountability. The second one is called Red River, and this is by a band called Reuben in the Dark, who I've heard a lot about, but I'd never listened to. And Craig, I really recommend you listen to this song. I think it's the gem of the album, and I think you'll really dig it. Gem of the album, huh? Yes, Red River by Reuben in the Dark. And this one is about missing Aboriginal women in Western Canada. Apparently that didn't hit the news here in the States. I don't mean to laugh at that because that's not at all funny.
Actual missing women. I thought what you meant was like missing people, like I miss you.
Oh, like
I go away.
Like, I have a girlfriend, but she lives in Western Canada.
Yeah, and I miss her. Oh no, but that's terrible.
The next one is called The Next One. And it's by Tamara Williamson and Absolutely Free. I'm assuming Absolutely Free is a band. I'm not familiar. And maybe Tamara Williamson is guest vocaling on
Is this all like indie rock?
I guess.
Type?
No, there's one song on it that's opera.
Wow.
Yeah. Caught me off guard.
Vast.
But it's a really, really cool album. That track's about sexual violence and a culture of silence. Then there's Voice Rubata by Fucked Up. I think this is the opera one. And that one's about the misleading illusions of liberty and the voice.
So the opera artist is called Fucked Up.
I don't know if they normally do opera. I don't know who Fucked Up is. I have to look that up.
I'm an opera singer.
I'm showing my belly. I'm showing I don't know half these bands.
You know Broken Social Scene.
And then there's Jerusalem by Jason Collette and Zeus. I know both of them. I'm not a big Zeus fan. I don't have anything against them. Jason Collette's got maybe one or two really good albums. So
I know Jason Collette. Well, yeah, we both know Zeus. I'm still doing labors for that bastard. He still has Larry.
And apparently he wrote a song about Jerusalem. That one's about exploring the divisive battle in the Middle East. And then the last track by Brendan Canning, co-founder of Broken Social Scene.
Yep, BSS.
No Doubt or Fire. No, the song isn't Brendan Canning and No Doubt, though that would be dope.
It's a song about the band No Doubt.
Actually, it's an ode to one of our era's most effective comedians. It's about Robin Williams.
Aww.
And it's a really cool album. There's only maybe 2 songs off it that I really threw onto playlists afterwards and continue to listen to repeatedly. But it's a great musical piece as a whole. It's cool to look back at the last year when you think about it, when you listen to it. And it's dope. I definitely recommend it.
That's cool. While it is cool, I feel like I shouldn't have recommended you go first because now I got to wrap this up and get this done quick because that was... Whew. All 6 tracks and their meanings.
Take your time. We're chilling.
Well, anyways, I'm not chilling. I'm very late for an important date. I'm bringing it back.
Fly, you fool.
No, my recommendation to everybody is a new comic by Robert Kirkman. It's called Outcast.
Robert Kirkman? Why say, isn't that the fellow that created such classics as The Walking Dead?
And Invincible?
I wanted to just say one. Such classics as The Walking Dead.
And just one. Right.
You know, Invincible's cool. I need to finish read. I've only gotten
Well, isn't it still
so
going?
far in it. Yeah, you haven't really read it at all, have you?
Not really.
Craig, it's really good. You're going to start reading it.
Well,
you're going to start reading it, and then you're going to be like, this isn't that great. But once you get to the twist, what's a twist?
Yeah.
Once you get to that twist, dude, you'll be like, okay, now I'm hooked. And then it becomes like Walking Dead.
Well, a buddy of mine loves that comic, and he keeps telling me I should read it. And, well, I probably should, but who knows? This is not about Invincible, though. That's been going on for a while. This one, he's on maybe his 5th or 6th issue at the time of me saying this right now that's released. It's called Outcast. It's about demonic possession.
Oh, so it's not about the hip-hop act?
No, it's not about Andre or Big Boy. Not at all.
I'd like to see Robert Kirkman's treatment of I'm Sorry, Miss Jackson.
Ooh. Yeah, no. This is much better. Much better.
Sorry, Miss Jackson.
The funny thing is
she had got beat.
The main character that is supposed to be able to fight these demons and help with the exorcisms
is Andre 3000.
Is maybe.
So it's Big Boy?
No.
That's weird. I would have figured they would have made Andre
it's
main
neither.
character, but
he's
sorry.
Are you done yet?
I'm sorry.
Just spitting all over my fucking recommendation. That's it. It's the last time I recommend awesome stuff named after a mediocre band.
No, go on. What happens in the comic?
No, I'm done.
No, you didn't want to hear it. No.
If you want to know what's going on in the comic, maybe you should pick up a copy. Oh, but you can't get issue 1 because that shit's been sold out. Like, they're on like the 6th edition, and they aren't going to do any more because they've done 6 editions in 6 months.
Okay, so no, I apologize. I apologize. This comic, The Black Eyed Peas, what's it about?
All right, you're on your own. Goodbye, everybody. I'm Craig of the Hut. Good day.
Did you not want to? You can. Is that where you wanted to cut off?
After I've cooled down, I'm back. I'm smooth. No, it's about Outcast, not the band. A person who is non-religious and can fight these demons because he's got something special in him. And what is it? I don't know. You're going to have to read. They have not gotten this far yet. So it's just a very interesting read. The art style is amazing, and the comic is great. Check it out.
Awesomeness-tastic. Will do. Join us here next week for the last week of January, first week of February.
For the finale of Fan Appreciation Month-ish.
Take it again. From the Secret Room, I'm Nathan K.
And I'm Fats Vet. Stay classy.
Hey, you guys actually did stick around. Well, as promised, we have prepared a nice, big 15 fucking minute chunk of the Bullstone episode we had the privilege of guest hosting to give those of you who may not be familiar with the podcast or its progenitors a taste of the uncannily casual conversation you can expect. The topic of the episode was the Alien Autopsy film, but as you'll hear in a moment, we talked about so much more. If you like what you hear, you can download or stream the entire episode totally free on iTunes or at blurryphotos.org, and you can find more fun discussion between the four of us in their 100th episode, as well as our 19th, 72nd, and 77th episodes. We hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you here again next week.
I read a really great short story, a short science fiction story about aliens come to Earth, but they won't reveal themselves. They just live in orbit. They kind of help mankind, and they have this rule. They're like, we're going to just sit here for 100 years and help you. And then in 100 years, we'll reveal ourselves. But we need you to know that we don't mean you any harm, that we are here to help, and it's going to take us 100 years to prove that. And so they do. They kind of help clean up the atmosphere. They help with disease. They do all this stuff. And then at the big unveiling, they're like, listen, we monitored you, and we realized that there's just this horrible universal coincidence. We look like demons. The way you describe demons, we're all red. We have horns. We have a tail. We have hooves. We look like demons. So we couldn't just come off the boat because you guys would lose your minds. We just had to sit here and like let you know we're here and be nice and helpful and prove our goodwill for 100 years, because otherwise, collectively, you all would have lost your minds because of this weird coincidence that our appearance coincides with this mythology that you have.
And we probably wouldn't think that they were aliens. We probably would think that they were demons coming from the skies. And we're like, we're being attacked from hell and the sky.
Exactly. And my only problem with that story is that after 100 years, people would still be like, demons! Oh, you played us slow, but I know a demon when I see one.
Oh, yeah.
I told you should have believed in Jesus.
That's right.
So I got a couple what ifs for you guys.
Okay.
Let's say you, whether officially, unofficially, by happenstance, whatever the circumstances are, somehow find yourself in the position that you are the de facto ambassador of Earth to aliens. And you have the opportunity, the only thing you don't have the opportunity to talk to them, any of that. You just have the opportunity to share one aspect of culture with them, whether like contemporary, ancient, anything, like one aspect of culture. What is it that you share with the aliens on behalf of the human race?
I mean, I imagine
Blurry photos.
yes, our podcast. I mean, I imagine that this would be a popular choice, but just music of any kind.
You don't have a specific. You got to pick something specific.
Oh, okay.
What music, sir?
I guess I would choose classical music.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
You don't know which. That's cool. We can leave it at that if you don't have a specific.
like hyper specifically.
I don't know. How about an artist? Beethoven, Mozart, like who?
Yeah, I would go with Mozart.
Okay.
Eine kleine Nachtmusik, if I had to pick.
You see, me, I would try to scare them away by playing them Ice Ice Baby.
Nice.
I'm always
and
thinking.
thus proving that not only do we have no taste, but we have no respect for copyrighted works by Queen.
Flora?
It's funny because I would have gone down the same route. I may have chosen a Beethoven, but
what about that?
Damn, there's my answer.
I guess I don't know. Like I would think that would, because that's something that might be entirely unique.
It could be. I mean, to them, it could be an assault on whatever they perceive sound with.
Right.
It was cool. So either we rock them or we rock them like a hurricane.
That's the song. Scorpion.
Because the other thing I was thinking is that I guess it demonstrates an intrinsic understanding of math.
Yeah.
What does music?
Yeah.
In a sense, biology to a certain extent. I mean, depending on how you look at it. Not necessarily an understanding, but
it lets them know what our vocal range is, how we perceive that information, maybe. I don't know. What would you guys give them?
I would have picked some type of music too. I'm trying to think what I would. I think I can't come up with a specific answer, but I would want to show them something piano based. Something with the piano.
And I would still honestly go with The Simpsons.
I would show them Ben Folds.
There you go. What about Piano Man?
Oh yeah, sure. Billy Joel. Yeah, why not? Yeah. Show them it's okay to get drunk and drive.
That's right.
So we think that music is the universal language.
Of course.
Except for Craig.
Or
The Simpsons is the universal language for me.
One thing to give them. I think music would be.
Do you think it would be any different if we had one thing that we could be like, here is the most human example of math?
That counts.
That would be.
And then show them pie.
Yeah. I mean, there's that plate that's on Voyager, which
that plate
is a bad idea.
I think is well, like as a human, I can't make heads or tails of it. When they show like the images that are on that gold plate, I'm like, what is this? How is an alien supposed to decipher what a human is like if a human can't even decipher this shit?
Yeah, and they've done different experiments about that. There was one where they had encoded some data. They wanted to make it so simple that anyone could do it, and no cryptographer on Earth could figure out the format for decoding it. Like that is something that blows up in people's face all the time. I think that it is a catastrophic mistake to send something out with a map of how to find us.
Yeah, and
granted, we're doing it anyway. We're just transmitting radio waves and signals like crazy. You know, it's not like that's the thing that's really going to give us away, but I still think it's reckless.
Literally, we are transmitting radio waves.
Well,
yep.
You know, like was it the Voyager? I don't remember. No research in this podcast, but there was something that was sent out. The single object of human culture that was sent out. It was a blues song. I don't remember who it was by, but it was meant to convey the emotion of loneliness should alien life find it. And right now it's like some odd million light years away or something. I don't know, but it is the single human object that's like farthest away from Earth.
That's definitely Voyager, because it is officially outside of our solar system now. It is beyond any gravitational effect of the sun, I think.
All right, so here's another one for you.
Okay.
How about the alien contact happens, whether they initiated it or we initiated it or something in between.
Irrelevant.
It happens. And this is with some alien race, either from like ufology culture or classical lore or sci-fi, some type of alien race. What alien race is it? Something that we already are familiar with that fictionally exists, or
Skin job Cylons. They're so hot.
who?
Skin job Cylons.
Who's that?
You guys ever watch Battlestar Galactica?
I don't. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I saw a season of Caprica.
wow. What a weird choice.
So what are they like?
They're robots, but they're biological robots. Like, if you cut them, they will bleed. Like, it's very difficult to tell them apart.
I don't
They
trust
just look
them.
like humans.
I don't trust them. I'm sorry.
They're all really hot. There's
So
only
they're
6
like-
versions.
Oh,
Arnold
never mind.
and
Never
Terminator.
mind. I totally trust them. Never mind.
Are you saying what do we think they'd be like, or what do
No.
we want them to
Who
be
do you
like?
prefer? You're given the choice.
Oh,
like the magical genie is like, hey
know.
guys.
The Pleiadians or whoever comes in and has sex with you while teaching you physics or whatever. Right?
Yeah, that's a
what's-
pretty good one.
What's
But
that
they're
from?
already visiting
It's got to
us,
be
so-
like from something. Like
Yeah.
in sci-fi culture or ufology culture or like mythology.
Yeah, cite your
Oh,
example.
so New Age culture doesn't count?
No, it does not.
Oh, is that? No, that counts. I'm just not familiar with it. Yeah, totally. What is it though? I'm sorry.
We had a story in an old episode about the Pleiadians would come to people while they were asleep and teach them about sex and weird stuff. It was
Well, they would teach them about whatever they wanted to know, but they would do it through sex.
Okay.
Like the most mind-blowing, blowing sex that you've ever.
It was it was this really weird like piece of erotic fan fiction that was supposed to be about alien contact. I don't know. Like I guess no. I mean the Cylons would be pretty good looking, but on the other hand, everyone would flip out because they look like humans. So you would want something that doesn't look anything like a human.
Predator?
No.
Yeah, I pass on predators.
I'm slightly disappointed neither of you said Melmacians.
No love for Melmac.
You know what? Wookiees. I'd be pretty happy with Wookiees.
I would be
five for
pretty
that
f***ing
one.
happy with Wookiees too.
I think that'd be pretty cool. Well, wait, what are your answers? I want to hear what you guys think of that. What would you?
I've honestly been sitting here racking my brain, and Melmacians and Wookiees were both answers that I was juggling in my head.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Melmacians.
I thought for a second when you said juggling, I thought you were going to say juggalos. I was like, no, we don't want that.
No, we don't want none of those guys.
I'm sorry, I misheard the question.
But you can keep your Fago. You can leave that here.
I feel like there's something really obvious that I would want that I'm leaving, that I'm like not remembering right now. And as soon as we're done recording the podcast, I'll be like, oh, duh.
He's thinking of the Borg.
Oh,
You know
the
what I
Borg,
think would
of
be cool?
course. What's
Stitches. Stitch.
Oh my god.
Lilo and
yes.
Stitch? Hell yeah.
Yes.
I'd be pretty pleased with that.
Experiment
I would.
626.
Nerd.
I think I'd go with like Wookiees or Stitch, or do like, if you picked like biological machines, do like R2 units count? I would love my own R2 unit.
Them's is robots. I mean, you could have sentient robots. You could have like T-1000s.
No, I wouldn't love my own T-1000. That's a little too much for me to. That's a handful.
Nathan's
trying to think
undecided on his own question.
That's right. I like this.
He's like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting anybody to ask me that.
Well, what was your answer, Craig?
Melmacians.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah. That's why I said I was disappointed they didn't. I wasn't sure if I was going to get asked. I'm like the stepchild. I'm just over here just kind of throwing my 2 cents in every here and there.
And that's it for the cat population.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I could get
I'm
behind
okay
that.
with it.
Yeah. I read a book. There's an author named John Scalzi who I really like. And he read one of his first books was called Agent to the Stars. And it is about a Hollywood agent who gets contacted by an alien civilization to facilitate their introduction to planet Earth. And he kind of goes through this. He's like, well, and they're blocks of like semi-transparent, like jelly kind of. And they communicate amongst each other with smells, but they can vibrate and produce sound and speak. And he has this
really
discussion
familiar.
with them. It's a cool, weird book. And the fun thing, one of the things I really enjoyed about the book was his discussion. The guy's like, well, why on earth would you bother a Hollywood agent? He's like, why don't you just go talk to the president? And they're like, well, we need to appeal to your entire planet. And while your country is one of the larger ones and it runs a lot of things internationally, it by no means speaks for the entire planet. So it doesn't really help to talk to your president. And also, your president doesn't even really speak for your entire country. And he's like, well, why wouldn't you go to the UN? And they were like, yeah, we've been observing you. The UN is useless. And they were like, but the one thing that is globally accepted around the world is U.S. entertainment, movie stars, TV shows, music. These are the things that every country, regardless of their ideology, accepts and is okay with. So we need a Hollywood agent. That's how we do it. And I thought that was a weirdly accurate depiction of how that would look to someone who had been observing us and trying to appeal to the entire planet, not just our little corner of it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. For the same reason we all pretty much chose to send music out to the aliens, except for Craig.
It was still the arts.
In Craig's version of that book, they contact Matt Groening.
Yes,
that's right. And they're like, well, where are the yellow ones with 4 fingers?
It almost sounds a little Douglas Adams-esque. Maybe not quite as like irreverent and satirical.
Yeah, but it is. You're absolutely right. There is like everyone is very bored with it, even though it's really mind blowing. That I think Douglas Adams does really well. You know, where we're like, oh yeah, we're hurtling through space, but I really just want to talk about this sandwich I'm eating.
Oh man, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books.
Wait, hold on. What sandwich was it?
Yeah. It's always a grilled cheese with bacon. Dude.
I haven't eaten all day, man. I had some bacon jerky. Please
How
don't.
is that? I don't want to get too far off here, but is that good? I see that, and I'm like, huh. Bacon
Meh.
jerky.
It's worth trying. I mean, it tastes just like you're eating dry bacon.
Sack of bacon.
Dry bacon. It's chewier than it should be.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it'll be a problem we have to deal with, but I certainly don't think it's a problem we're at this point capable of dealing with.
Yeah.
What's that? Alien contact?
Yeah.
Disclosure in general.
Well, thank God none of us are the ambassadors.
I don't know. Could happen. We're preeminent people in the media of talking about aliens. We've just established it.
Here's the episode where Mr. Burns gets shot and bitches ain't by Ben Folds.
They're gonna fucking let George Tsoukalos talk to him. His giant alarming hair. Let him get vaporized.